Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and pop culture. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including there's news that came out regarding Eric Dane's cause of death, so we got to get into that. Also, we have some sad but hopeful news regarding Bruce Campbell, because he just announced he had a cancer diagnosis. We'll get into that. Plus, Anna Camp is apologizing for sharing a post that threw shade at all the Scream 7 boycotters. The Matrix 5 is still on in the works because I was wondering recently what was going on with that movie. I said we haven't heard nothing for a month of Sundays from Drew Goddard, and he's speaking out and giving us an update. Plus, that Cregger, we have an update on his Resident Evil movie. We have to talk about Alan Cumming, who's finally speaking out regarding the whole situation regarding the BAFTAs and the whole N-word debacle. Also, we have the Actors Awards. I know everybody was talking about it yesterday, but I was busy. I was working, so I couldn't talk about it. We'll talk about it on the show how Sinners was winning a lot of the top prizes, and people were shocked that Michael B. Jordan won the big award over Timothy Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio. So we'll get into that. Plus, David Ellison, we're hearing more tea regarding this whole Paramount HBO situation or Paramount Warner Brothers situation. Well, apparently, Paramount Plus and HBO Max are going to basically merge into one streamer. So we'll break that down. Justin Timberlake just does not know when to just keep his head down and not be an idiot because now he's bringing attention to this whole DUI video. And now, what you bringing attention to something we wasn't even thinking about, I want to see it. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. Oh, wait, I didn't even finish doing the rundown. Laura Roach went and spilled tea, said that Zendaya and Tom Holland is married. Well, Zendaya's mother is responding to what Law had to say. We'll get into that. Diddy about to get released out of jail earlier than expected. So we'll break that down on when he's going to get his release. Cardi B must have clearly seen fag talk the other day because now she putting pressure on Tasha K because she said, bitch, I want my money. And that whole, defamation situation that went down. Harry Styles, I got some news for a lot of you Harry Styles fans. What do y'all call yourselves? The Stylists? Well, Harry Styles fans, if y'all can't afford to get a ticket to this residency he got coming, I got some good news. Y'all will be able to see it. You ain't even got, all you gotta do is pay your little Netflix subscription. That's a lot cheaper than an actual Harry Styles ticket. So we'll get into that. Plus, I have some news regarding, with all the DEI stuff going around as of late, especially with it affecting Hollywood, how some of your favorite queer personalities and actors, whatever you call it, are setting up a foundation to help queer filmmakers. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I also have I have memberships and things set up. So if you want to definitely sign up for a membership, you can do that. But if you want to save your little coin, if you don't have any money on you, I understand. Times is hard. Everything is going up. We got to deal with tariffs and all this other foolishness from this regime this joke of a regime who don't know really how to conduct business. And everybody's wallets is being affected. So if you can't afford to do a little, hit the like and subscribe. It definitely helps with the algorithm. It definitely helps me with my with how Google pays me every month, regarding all these shows that I do. So please and thank you. Now, oh damn, I'm like, we got a lot of people up in here already. Okay, Ashton. Hi, how are you? You sent like 20 of them. I don't know if it's we live. Whore, is you live? Yes, we are. Oh, I'm sure you probably saw my message. I just sent you a text. That's why I was a little late. And it feels weird. Like when you get a haircut, you have no hair on your head. I'm like adjusting the headphones, they feel weird on my head. Do a backflip iced tea. I don't know where you see iced tea from. Mr. Brother says, hey, snow monsters in the building. All right, y'all. So let's get to our first topic. Well, let me hit my banner. And yes, so let's get into topic number one, which is Eric Dane. So now some news has come out, which is kind of quick. that we have that they already have a cause of death, and he just died last week. I don't even think it's been a full week that he's been gone, but the news is out there, so let's get into it. So now the cause of death has been confirmed after he passed away on Thursday, February 19th. Says, according to Rolling Stone, the veteran actor passed away at the age of 53 from respiratory failure related to ALS. I ain't gonna try to say the whole. What is it? Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is basically ALS for short. Isn't that also Lou Gehrig's disease? They said Dane revealed his ALS diagnosis 10 months ago. The rare degenerative disease affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord as well as breathing. According to Mayo Clinic, ALS causes lots of muscle control and loss of muscle control, and there is currently no cure. The exact cause of the disease is still not known, although a small group of cases is inherited. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke states that it said as motor neurons degenerate and die, they stop sending messages to the muscles, which causes muscle weakness, twitching, and atrophy. Eventually, those with ALS often experience trouble talking, walking, and swallowing, and the symptoms worsen over time. It just seemed like since his diagnosis, it excelled pretty quickly. Like it just got bad. Like, and I think he only announced it within a year, and then now he's about a year ago, and now he's no longer with us. So it's like it really accelerated quickly. And then they said throughout his journey with ALS, Eric became a passionate advocate for awareness and research, determined to make a difference for others facing the same fight. Dane's family shared following his death. He will be deeply missed and lovingly remembered always. Eric adored his fans and is forever grateful for the outpouring of love and support he's received. The family has asked for privacy as they navigate this possible time. And so they said he's survived by his wife and two children because, and I guess what y'all mean by wife, you mean Rebecca Gayheart, because according to the reports, he and Rebecca was still married. At when you saw like I think they said on the death certificate or whatever the case was that he never divorced her. They were separated, and he went on and dated other women, and I don't know if she was dating other men, but they were still legally married. So Miss Girlfriend don't get nothing out of all of this. So I guess, unfortunately, this is a sad time in Hollywood. I was a fan of Eric Dane. I mean, I've seen him in little things here and there, but we all know, like, for those of us who watch Grey's Anatomy, we all fell in love with him when he played McSteamy. So, that was the role that pretty much blew him up and made him the big household name that he was to rival Patrick Dempsey. Which sidebar, Patrick, now that I think about it, you were sorely missed in Scream 7. You would have done a much better job than Joel McHale. Joel McHale, I cannot take seriously as a serious actor because he was just coming across a little cartoonish in that. But um, with that being said, it's unfortunate that this happened. Hopefully, the family can just grieve and deal with what they got to deal with, and rest in peace, Eric. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Now that we have news that is what basically is his cause of death, which is like it just got excessive. That it was basically respiratory failure. So his respiratory organs and all the other stuff, it just like his body started to shut down and fail him because it's like it says once you know your neurons degenerate and die, they stop sending messages to the muscles. So they're thinking that, things are just going to start shutting down eventually, which would be, your muscles get weak, you start twitching uncontrollably, you have atrophy, which makes sense why he was confined to a wheelchair in his later years or his later days leading up to his unfortunate untimely death. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Um Well, good for you. You should use it. Um, oh, I read that already. Scream made 100 million, six film to do so, and officially becomes a $1 billion franchise. But good on them. Hopefully, they're making a better movie. The next one. Let me ask you a question. Why do you got? Why do you have two lives? Um, that and also, why do I have two lives? I have well, if I was a cat, I'd have nine, but no. um, two lives. One is for the regular one, and one is for what do you call it? Because I'm not the only one that does it. I notice Maddie Rance does it too. But more people, it's just different options. Like some people watch it on their or their laptop or their TV, whatever the case is, which is the one where you could basically see everything. And then there's the other one where people watch on their phones. So that's basically like the two different options. And I've noticed that more people tend to watch it in the version that goes on the cell phone versus that one because the numbers be going up. When I see like depending on the topic, whatever the case is, I'll hit between, it automatically goes to like, if it's not a slow news day, it'll go from 1K to 3K, which for a small channel is a big feat. But yeah. It said also shows studios were impatient. Patrick said he needed time, 5 or 6 months. McKenna said had Paramount gave her 8 months, she could have done Tatum. Patrick was told, but that's why I said it was stupid. Y'all were trying to rush the situation. Y'all should have just taken time to really perfect the script and get this movie made. And I also think hire Kevin Williamson to come back and write. Get a new director because now that I think about it, his directing was not that great in this movie. I also think that either have him come on as a writer or make him just an executive producer or woo back Christopher Landon. I think cooler heads that prevailed. He can come back and do the movie that he wanted to make, and I really think he would have done a much better job if he was on if he was a part of it. McKenna had 3 films booked, so both horror films had limited time. And they wasted her in both. They wasted her in Five Nights at Freddy. She was in it for like literally about the same amount of screen time as she had in Scream. I'm like, y'all, how y'all waste her? And to me, McKenna Grace would have made a much better daughter to Sydney than Isabel May. Isabel May is too old to be playing a damn teenager. She's like what in her mid-20s, and y'all got this mid-20-year-old playing a teen. Like, come on now. But then again, when from my generation, we had 30, 35-year-olds playing kids in high school. Who am I to judge? I ain't mad at it. I know a lot of people do this, so I didn't know. I be commenting on both sometimes because I come in and come out. Yeah, and both goes in like right now you're messaging on the phone version, but yeah, that's what I think is the algorithm thing, and more people tend to watch the one that's connected to like what is it, the reels version. Reels get more views than regular shows or whatever. Yeah, she just looked too old too. And it said people said that's why I think people was having a problem with her being. I'm like, really, Isabel May? I didn't see it, but I was like, I'll go along for the. I'll see what they giving before I judge. People said Paramount and Spyglass should have paid Gary Busick $3 million, but yeah, they definitely should have. Because I think you was gonna say no. You meant Guy Busick. I think you meant because I was like Gary Busey. When did he make a screen movie? Yeah, Guy Busick needs to no longer write screen movies. All 3 of the films he had a hand in writing was terrible, and it clearly showed in this film. Okay, it was like, were you the one that was the bad writer? Because I didn't like Scream 5, didn't like Scream 6. I mean, there were pieces in there that I was entertained by. I didn't like particularly the whole movie. There were pieces in those films that I was like, okay, there's some great ideas here. Now, as far as did they execute it? But I get the ideas behind some of the stuff he was coming up with. But Scream 7, oh my God, the weakness they showed throughout that script and the actors not even trying. They just like phoning it in. I even think Gail didn't even get well, Gail was barely in the movie, but she was phoning it in too. They were all phoning it in. But if y'all gonna do 8, which we know they are doing 8, and they're probably gonna shoot it later this year, please give us a don't insult the intelligence of your audience. And as a Scream fan, we should be allowed to critique if a movie is not up to par, especially when Scream is the original movie, third that came out 30 years ago, changed the way we view slasher movies, because slasher movies were not taken seriously back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, yeah, I was way too young to even understand all that stuff, but looking back on those movies, I'm like, yeah, it's just a bunch of people with no kind of backstory, whatever, getting killed one by one by a killer. Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy. I mean, there was always, but at least in Freddy, what I noticed, they did kind of set up some things for these characters as like, okay, we felt for them. Like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, one of my favorites. I mean, I love the original. Of course, I love part two. I know a lot of people don't particularly care for part two, but I like the second one. And not only because of the homosexual angle, but I just like that movie. But part three, where it was like the set pieces and the him killing them based off of like certain habits or certain things that each character had, like old girl that was a junkie, how he played up on that and killed her, or later on when you had Carlos who was deaf. Nice hearing from you, Carlos. Like that whole situation, and then changed up his hearing aid and was scratching on the chalkboard, like stuff like that. I find, or the girl that was had asthma. You want to suck face? Like I like stuff like that because it's playing into those characters. They didn't do that with this movie. I didn't give a damn about none of these kids that was killed off, and I feel like in what made me think, you know what? I should probably save this for the other Scream story, but on my ideas, because I feel like I'm giving a lot of stuff away before we even get to the Anna Camp story, because I can add it to it. So we'll circle back around to that. Never Campbell has ideas, and Kevin liked it. That's the passing of torch. Gail passed the torch to Mindy, and Chad should retire but still help. Nev will be in a lot. Yeah, I think at this point, y'all. I mean, if y'all not gonna give Nev anything to do, then y'all need to kind of like find a way to soft remove her from the franchise and just have her come on board and be a producer or something or another. If y'all not gonna really do something with her character, utilize her. Now I don't even feel like God, and this has been my bitch about these other movies. Even when y'all had Sidney Gale and Dewey in as cameos, I was like, Radio Silence and the writers and everybody, y'all did not understand these characters. Y'all didn't understand Dewey, Gale, and Sid because they didn't care. They wanted to create their own characters and have them be little, on the side. But anyway, let's get into. Oh, Onyx is in here. She dropped a new song. I didn't even hear it. I didn't even know. All I knew was that you could watch Charlie XCX's The Moment if y'all have a little coin totters to rent or buy the movie, and it was just showed at Sundance Film Festival like a month ago. And well, actually in January. And now we're in March and it's available to rent or stream, rent at home or buy at home if you have Prime Video. Because I saw that it was up there. I'm like, damn, that was quick. But I don't think it was even in the theater. So they probably just got a distribution from Prime Video and people could just watch it there. But yeah, I didn't hear her new song. She needs to just put them all on Apple Music or whatever. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Bruce Campbell. So Bruce Campbell, unfortunately, had to give us some sad news regarding, because I was like, I know y'all not about to say, when I saw the headline, I said Bruce Campbell. I'm like, what? I thought they was going to say he died because we've just been losing so many icons, whatever the case is. Thank God it was a false alarm. But unfortunately, yes, he did announce that he has been diagnosed with a cancer that he says is treatable, but not curable. So Bruce Campbell, as y'all know, he's done a lot of films, but what he's most famous for, of course, is playing Ash in the whole Evil Dead franchise. But for me, I mean, yes, I love Evil Dead, but one of my favorite movies of his that I love him in is Maniac Cop. Love the original Maniac Cop, and I love Maniac Cop 2. Was mad when y'all killed them off but they was killing everybody that was in the original movie off, and I guess trying to bring in new characters. So anybody could have got, and that's what I liked about that movie Maniac Cop versus Scream. There was no plot armor on those characters. Anybody could get got at any moment. Your leads would get killed off in the first 20 minutes of a sequel. And so I like when they take those risks. And Scream 8, if y'all gonna come back and do one, you need to start raising the stakes and really going in and start killing people off. But nevertheless, he made this announcement on social media and said the following. It said, these days, when someone is having a health issue, it's referred to as an opportunity. So let's go with that. I'm having one of those. This is what he wrote in a lengthy post on Twitter. It's also called a type of cancer that's treatable, not curable. I apologize if that's a shock. It was to me too. The actor did not share the specific of what type of cancer it is, but he said this. He said, "The good news is I'm not going to go into any more detail. I'm posting this because professionally, a few things will have to change. Appearances and cons and work in general need to take a back seat to treatment. My plan is to get as well as I possibly can over the summer so that I can tour with my new movie, Ernie and Emma, this fall. There are several cons this summer that I have to cancel. Big regrets on my part. Treatment needs and professional obligations don't always go hand in hand. That's about it. I'm not trying to enlist sympathy or advice. I just want to get ahead of this information in case false information gets out, which it will." He also concluded by a post by sending love to his fans and said that, "Fear not, I'm a tough old son of a bitch and I have great support. So I expect to be around a while." And you know what, Bruce? I'm glad you said this because your health is more important. When people talk about, well, yeah, don't cry for me, Argentina. I just want to get it out there. I just want to let y'all know what's going on, so that way I could stay and I could get all the treatment I possibly can. Hopefully, it won't clear out his bank account, as we've seen. This has been the ongoing situation with a lot of celebrities where they're going in getting all this treatment and their insurance doesn't cover it, and then they're ending up having to basically go bankrupt in order to continue to get the treatment that they need. We've seen it happen with James Vanderbeek. We've seen what was going on with Miss J from America's Next Top Model, so many others where we've been having this conversation, and they have to set up GoFundMe's. Hopefully, it won't get to that point, but I'm glad that he's going to take the time to get himself together. And I know a lot of people love seeing him at the conventions because with him being such a staple within the horror and science fiction, well, just basically horror genre. If you're a genre actor, which he is, I mean, he's a character actor, but he's more or less known for being in the world of horror, and the fans love him. They love the pictures, the autographs, and you can make so much mint at these conventions. And so the fact that he has to cancel this, he's like, "Yeah, my health is more important. There'll always be another con that I can do, which will be in 2027. But if he's not healthy enough to do it, then it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is he needs to focus on his health so that way he'll be able to do what he does." So shout out to you, Bruce. I want to see if there was anything else that we could add to this, but you don't know. He's been in a lot of stuff. Um, but I don't know what oh, they said he wrote. I was like, I don't know anything about Ernie and Emma, but they said he wrote, directed, and starred in it. So it's a road trip comedy about grief, love, and rediscovering life after loss. So it's his own personal movie, and I didn't even know. Oh, well, he basically said that, and one of the things I think I loved about Bruce Campbell, I think why so many people relate to, excuse me, why people relate to him because he plays characters that aren't perfect. And I know we see a lot of these movie stars that is like, "Oh no, I can't get beat up in a movie, or I can't have this happen." I was like, people like he's someone who loves playing flawed characters, or somebody who is like that everyday man that is an ordinary dude that gets caught up in an extraordinary situation and learns to triumph through those situations that he's enduring or having to face. So that's why I think a lot of people like Bruce. So kudos to him. Good luck to him, and I really hope that you make it out of this because I'm sure you got a lot more in you to make so many awesome movies. I know awesomer is not a word. I just decided to call it such. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Bruce Campbell, this news that he said he has a rare cancer? And like you said before, I'm not going to disclose that, and I don't think he has to. When he's ready to speak on whatever is going on in his personal life, and he feels well in his wheelhouse to discuss that, then you do that on your own time. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Dream Warriors, Freddie, my favorite. Oh, look at Nico up in here. That was the one. That was when I was telling you about that through shade at that last episode of Drag Race. And said if them bitches was up there, I'm like in a real category performing at Nogan and stuff, they would have got chopped. Yeah, I'm being messy. Texas voters are black and Latino are being like people said that. Oh, of course. Well, I don't know if it's just the Jasmine thing. They don't want people voting Democrat. So there's going to be a lot of the whole voter. suppression situation, which we said was going to be happening for the longest. And yeah, so and that's why they was trying to say, oh yeah, y'all gotta have a passport or all this other craziness you gotta come up with to go vote. I'm like, since fucking when? All I had to do when you go down to vote is they ask you like information, your phone number, your house, or whatever the case. I mean, like your address, and this is all the same, then you sign it and then you go and vote. It's like, yep, a real ballroom chop. But that's why RuPaul's Drag Race is RuPaul's Drag Race. But like I said, they had that choreographer come in and show the girls how to vote because they didn't want to get read down by the real ballroom people being like, oh, they got them up in here Nogan again. So they had to cover their ass by having that choreographer come up in there. I see you, Paramount and World of Wonder. Anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Anna Camp. So Anna Camp, I'm sure, is having the best time of her life because this weekend she's in a film that has like one of the biggest grossing, I think maybe one of the biggest grossing Scream films ever, could we say? Like it brought in $100 million opening weekend. So it's a hit. It's officially a $1 billion franchise. Took 30 years for y'all to get there, but I get it. It's an Scream slasher film, independent. It's not necessarily like you don't put $200 million behind a Scream film. The budget's always going to be between like maybe 20 to 35 or maybe even $40 million. I'm thinking it gets around at that point. But um slashers are usually they're cheap to produce. So finally, after 7 movies, yes, it's made $1 billion. But while views are mixed, people either love or hate the film. Y'all already know my opinion on it. I've spoken about it. I did a whole video on it the other day. I did clip it and make it a separate thing. It's probably like 30 minutes where I broke down all my overall jarbled thoughts because my mind, I don't write stuff down. So I just be all over the place and I just go with my feeling and everything. But anyway, so Anna Camp, well, I guess with all that kind of the controversy, the controversy, everything that surrounded that. But now Anna's out here having to apologize because she happened to throw a little shade at the protesters of the movie. So let's get into that story. So Anna has apologized. And she does she plays Jessica Bowden in the movie. She reposted an image in support of the film that called out the protesters on her Instagram story over the weekend. She later deleted the image and in a follow-up Twitter post said that it doesn't affect her personal beliefs on the subject. Now I do have the tweet or the repost in the Instagram stories. So yeah, there it is. And it basically says, well, what she said was, it has come to my attention that I reposted someone else's story that does not reflect my personal beliefs. I have since deleted the repost because I absolutely meant no harm. I'm sorry to anyone who was affected. And it's probably because maybe she was looking at it from the point of, wait, hold on, because I want to remember what exactly. Okay, so she reposted something that said, the boycotts didn't work. The critics' hate didn't work. The pathetic leaks didn't work. What worked was audiences coming out and make the film a success. So I think she was coming at it, and I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because reading this, maybe she was coming at it from a point of just people hating on the franchise because people didn't come back or whatever the case was and didn't really think that, okay, well, this kind of sounds like that you're shading a lot of the pro-Palestine um, people who were feeling Melissa Barrera because she left or she was fired. She didn't leave, she was fired. So she was probably mad about, so I think that's what people were getting all upset about, that, oh, so you're basically just thumbing your nose at all the people that was out here protesting against what happened with Melissa Barrera. But Melissa is fine. She's working. So I told you, if y'all want to support her, go support her. You should have went to go see Abigail when it came out. Look, she's about to be on Broadway. Go support her there. So I don't want to hear shit. And then she got a movie coming out with, I think, like a killer whale movie that she did with John Travolta. When that comes out, I want to see y'all flocking to the movies. And all you Melissa Barrera fans, go help that movie make $100 million opening weekend. Then I want to see you actually put your money where your mouth is. And this is not all just some performative stuff because y'all want to show some fake performative solidarity. I'm just saying in general, if you are genuinely somebody that is for this whole situation, then I'm with y'all because, like I said before, I am pissed at the fact of what Spyglass and them did with Melissa Barrera. But at the same time, I'm going to forego watching a franchise that I've been rocking with for 3 decades because of a situation about a free Palestine. There's so many ways that I've gone around showing my support for free Palestine, and you boycotting the movie is not going to fuck up the situation. Because, like I said, there are a lot of people who are not in this little free Palestine Melissa Barrera bubble that went to go see that film. Maybe there were people out there that deliberately, excuse me, maybe there were people out there that deliberately was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see the movie because I want to own the libs, and you know how some of those idiots are, and like, who the fuck are you owning? So, but in your mind, that's what you think you're doing. So, like, go over there and you do what you need to do. But as somebody who loves film and loves cinema, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I can be pissed off at certain people and go support another. But I guess people be like, but you're being a hypocrite. And well, I guess I am then. Because here's the thing: corporations, oligarchs, all of that stuff is being owned. Where everything that we own is got some kind of connection to a genocide and what's going on with this president. So we got to give up our phones too, because guess what? Apple is aligning themselves with a lot of these ideologies. Y'all gonna give your phone up? A lot of you can't last 5 minutes without looking at your damn phone. So fuck off with the selective outrage. But the whole thing with Anna Camp, some people was like, girl, it's not that deep. You're good. It's like, it's fine. Don't stress. Another person said, we stand Queen Anna. That was from Fear Queer Horror Guru. Who I think, oh yeah, we follow each other. I just had to look. I was like, wait, I think we follow each other. Um, then there was another person said it was my tweet, so all hate should be directed towards me. Leave Anna alone. And that's movies that movies that mar. Oh wait, are you trying to say like old girl from Mora from the Traitors? Because she can't say traitor, she said traitor. So because it says movie that mar. So and he was like, that's my tweet. Come at me, don't come at her. She just reposted it. Another person said, you and your fellow co-stars support genocide in Palestine by not standing with Melissa Barrera. Oh, because there was 10 of y'all that was at the situation and she was like, I see you. Of course, bitch, you see him. It was recorded and put on social media to get everybody riled up. So of course you see them. But like I said, if a tree collapses in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. So nobody really cared about the whole situation regarding this protest. And that's fine. If you don't want to see a movie, you don't want to support it, then go ahead by all means. Everybody has that right to. But other people that want to go and experience and see these movies, that's their right as well. You don't have a right to control and tell people what it is that they can and cannot see. So um to get back into the story, because I was like, I wanted to show y'all that. And well, they said that the post was shared by the Scream with Ryan C. Showers podcast. So but I guess he was going by another, that's the actual person's name, because it didn't say, the person's name in there, but the article said it. So if you feel in your heart of hearts, it was like, I ain't mean no harm, it's fine. And they said that oh yeah, they were talking about the protests and stuff. So they said the protest, which was organized by Entertainment Labor for Palestine, Code Pink LA, and Jewish Voice for Peace Los Angeles, was held to call attention to the industry's widespread silencing of pro-Palestinian voices and its whitewashing of Israel's ongoing genocide in Gaza. And what I don't like is the fact that because I will say this, I don't like the idea that the industry is destroying careers or silencing people for speaking out against the atrocities of what's going on. Like Susan Sarandon recently came out and did an interview and said that she had lost her agency. She started losing a lot of work because she was out there protesting against the genocide. And I feel like people should have their right to speak out against atrocities that's going on in the world, and it shouldn't affect their job. If you're out there causing harm and you're saying disrespectful things to a certain group of people, that requires firation, not you standing up for the disenfranchised. It's like I feel like we're in like some alternate universe that just makes no freaking sense. So yeah, so with all that being said, the movie made over 97 million at the global box office. We got a lot of fan favorites, but I will say this to wrap all this up. I really hope when Scream 8 comes back that y'all will figure out to come up with a really good story surrounding all of with the next movie because I felt like the storyline for this film was like beyond weak. It was not a good script. Guy Busick should be burned at the stake and never allowed anywhere near another Scream movie because he can't write for shit. He ruined the fifth one. The fifth one was bad, the sixth one was bad, and this one was the worst. But there were pieces that I got from Scream 7 that I enjoyed. But the suspense, I needed real suspense. I needed real stakes that people need to be up. And it just felt like Sydney had no stakes. You didn't kill her husband. Isabel May, I felt like was miscast. She looked way too old to be playing Sydney's daughter. I actually thought because McKenna Grace is the bigger star, she should have been Tatum. That would have made more sense. Also, I was like, this is not the first time they did a miscast with who should be a lead in a horror film. They did it 20 some odd years ago when I Know What You Did Last Summer, because quiet as it's kept. Y'all may think, look, save your tomatoes, because I'm going to just say, I always say the thing that may not be the most popular opinion. I don't think Jennifer Love Hewitt should have been the lead of that franchise. I do not feel like she had what it took to be a lead and carry that film. Helen Shivers was the final girl. She should have been the final girl. Sarah Michelle Gellar eats down and captivates so much in regards of performance. Julie James, I felt like was the anchor that was holding that film down to make it feel more of what like it could have been I felt like it could have been bigger than what it was. I do not think that Jennifer Love Hewitt was his final girl material. And it clearly showed when y'all were trying to make fetch happen with that remake or requel or whatever the hell it was of I Know What You Did Last Summer, another classic that was turned into a hot ass mess express. So shout out to you, Anna. Unfortunately, you won't be in the next one for reasons I'm not going to say if you haven't seen the movie. But um it was good seeing her in the film, and I think she's a good actress. It was just your talent was wasted in such a shitty script. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of Anna Camp apologizing for reposting a post that I guess people were dragging over? I didn't even know if people was dragging her over it, but apparently they were. So yeah, she spoke out. She apologized. Let's move on with our lives. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Screaming Ryan C. Showers has been shared. Well, yeah, we follow each other on social media. It's hard to ignore Israel supporting our entertainment, or it's like not only supporting, but just having control over it. They're trying to control the media. They're trying to control our entertainment, what we watch, what we listen to, how we get our information, which is why I think but I've been saying like it's a huge problem, especially with the Ellisons trying to buy up all these studios, particularly when you have Paramount and now the Warner Brothers, which I'm really hoping they get so wrapped up in all these things because Europe has to come on board and so many other people. I'm really hoping. Wait, I was reading this. I was like, how you say Barrera is a gag? Barrera. You said not give the phone up, but stop buying the new ones. You can even see the movie without supporting it. Well, yeah, bootleg it. Go see it for free. Don't get a movie no money. And you said all them proceeds weren't just from people who disagree but can't help themselves. It's from mostly those who don't care or don't know. Yeah, agreed. There's people who don't know because, like I said, a lot of the a lot of people who went to go see the movie, they're not paying attention to all this stuff that's going on. They say, "Oh, another Scream movie. Oh, Nev Campbell's back because we missed her in the last one, and she was underused in the fifth one. I'm gonna go see it. Nostalgia." The AI thing was radio. I mean, look, I like the AI idea. I just felt like they poorly executed, especially the scene in the car where Tatum gets in the car and the laptop is cracked, and her boyfriend is like, "Oh, I was just trying to see if I could do the whole stew thing." And I'm like, "But what he said? Why would you even say that about Sydney? Like, and doing the whole face thing with a green screen?" I'm like, "What? No, come on," because I was trying to do that whole misdirection thing, and even I'm like, okay. I'm starting to think this. Well, you said the whole AI thing was radio silence. I'm starting to think that script was written with AI. But the AI idea, I like the idea, but like I said, they should have combined the AI idea with the Stu cult thing, because there's a lot of these Stu fanatics out here that want him to be alive so bad. And I did hear that Kevin Williamson admitted that they were actually going to have Stu show up at the end, but because they wanted to have their cake and eat it, but they decided to go against it. Did I lie though? He said, "What is the critic reception of Scream 7? And be honest, from my research, it's already the critics hate it. A lot of critics hate it. It's funny how I had an issue with. I didn't even want to watch John Campion's because I felt like I'm like, first of all, you're not a fan of the genre. You always kind of thrown shade at Scream because you were like, "Oh, it's not. They don't have a Michael, or they don't have a Michael Myers or a Jason or whatever," and that it's because it's always a different person. And we like the Scooby Doo thing of it. That's why a lot of the fans love it. But what I don't like about the franchise is like if you're going to continue to go and do the whole Scooby Doo aspect of Scream, you have to make it interesting. You can't just kind of come up with some flimsy motive and be like, what? That's it? Like the motive in this one, I'm like, that shit made no sense. And we were supposed to just buy it. So if you're gonna keep kind of if you're gonna keep doing that, you have to come up with a really interesting and compelling reason for us to get on board with this whole thing. I also have to disagree. So I didn't watch his because I was like, okay, you're gonna get all Pisces and very emotional with it and it's over melodramatic. And as someone, if you're not a fan of a genre, I don't care what you have to say. I care of people who are actually fans of the genre, like a Killjoy Jake or a Critical Overlord or a Drum Dums, which Lee, I love you dearly, but your review of that was so wrong. I think it is apparent that you are just a fan of bad movies. And he's even said that. But he was like, this is a good movie. But I'm like, look, if you like it, I love it. But I'm just like, no. Because he said this thing. He said, that we go to the movies to see Ghostface and for the kills. On the surface, yes. But for me personally, no, I don't go to the movies just to see Ghostface and a bunch of people die. I go for that, but also a good story. What do you have to say about today's climate regarding the meta of it all, regarding horror, the film genre, what all that stuff is? Because if you really want to go there to me, like I felt like with this film, we have so many movies that have surpassed kind of the mainstreamification of horror, meaning y'all can't be doing this little watered down, oh, I'm gonna just stab somebody in the back of the head and that's enough. We've seen gnarlier kills in Terrifier, that whole franchise, and even the Stream movie with David Howard Thornton. If you haven't seen that, definitely see that with David Howard Thornton and Danielle Harris. That was a good one. Some of the kills in there were crazy. And In a Violent Nature. In a Violent Nature was boring as fuck. I have not watched that movie since I last saw it because it's so boring. But the kills in that movie were crazy. And I feel like if Scream went, not if, it's a matter of when Scream comes back, I need gnarlier kills and higher stakes. I don't know if if y'all really want to go terrify with it all, like have Ghostface running around with a chainsaw. But look, if you could sit there and split somebody open and have their guts come out while they're swinging from a goddamn harness at a school play, then get the chainsaw out. So I think, yeah, basically the reception is that the critics did not like it. There's some out there that had a good time with it. Like I said, there's parts of it I like, there's parts of it I didn't like, but overall that script was a mess. And yeah, what else was I gonna say? Because you was talking about critic reception. It'll come to me. It's the lowest one, and Chris can tell you because most felt was Team Melissa. They didn't watch the movie. Rotten Tomatoes should be taken with a grain of salt. And now it's like it's not only just legitimate critics like a Perry Nemiroff and those types that can get on there and become go on there and do the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing. Speaking of which, Lee from Drum Dums is also on Rotten Tomatoes. They be having random people that could just sign up. I did not watch Scream 7 on Friday, but I did watch another homosexual movie. I did not know. Oh, you watched Not Another Gay Movie? Oh, I love that. Child, I saw that in the theater. I saw that in the movies, but I had to go to like I think it was at the Quad, which is like a queer independent movie theater that we have in New York. That's the one thing I love about New York. We have so many options of like how we could see certain movies. I saw that in the movies. I saw Boy Culture in the movies. What else did I see? I saw Not Another Gay Movie 2 in the movies too. And I saw Punks, the first Patrick Ian Polk movie. There was a lot of really good queer films that came out in like the late 90s and the 2000s that I was able to see in the theater. I was like, yeah, that game, I couldn't believe I actually sat in the theater and saw it. But I think it was just like we was all kind of we weren't so in the closet. We kind of were, but not really. But if you go to certain areas of New York, you always felt a little like a little punk about how you went about things. So I remember I went with a couple of my friends. We went to go see that in the movies. I even saw 54 in the movies with Ryan Phillippe. I'm still mad they try to water down the queerness of what went on at Studio 54. Hmm. I just felt like they poorly executed the whole parasocial situation. Yeah, the beer tap scene was cool though. As an '80s slasher fan, it was like some of the kills in there. It kind of reminded me of remember that scene in Happy Birthday to Me where the guy got impaled with the what do you call it when you eat the shish kebab stick? So it kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, oh yeah, now I remember the whole critic thing. So there was another one because Jeff Snyder reviewed it, told about he hated it, but a lot of the reason why he said why he didn't like it, valid points. And John Roca didn't like it, and I was like, valid points. Like they're coming at it from a place of we watch the movies. We're a fan of the franchise. I may not be so John is not well versed in the whole situation, but he came at it from an objective perspective. And that's what I always expect people to do. Not just, oh, I'm just trying to clickbait because I need clicks and views and I got bills to pay. And I know 40,000 of y'all gonna be watching my show every day. So I need to, amp it up a little bit. As we all tend to do as personalities. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some more movie news. And let's talk about The Matrix. So, speaking of films that I guess, do we even need another one at this point? Because the last one, Resurrections, speaking of god awful, that movie is unwatchable. I saw it once, never went back to it. I was like, what was the point of this movie? It was literally now y'all want to talk about nostalgia bait and reheating nachos, like we were just talking about with Scream. Oh, Matrix Resurrections did had that shit in spades years ago when they released that. So I was like, okay, let the franchise stay dead. We don't need another one. But what piqued my interest in this franchise making a comeback is because Drew Goddard is writing it and I believe directing it. And Drew Goddard, for those of you not know, he wrote the script. And I don't know if he directed the film, but I know he wrote the script for Project Hail Mary, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing. And damn, and what was the other movie that there was another movie he did, The Martian. He wrote that one. Love The Martian. So, according to Comic Book Movie, there's a new code brewing with The Matrix 5 because back in April of 2024 is when we found out that, oh, yeah, he also did The Cabin in the Woods, which I love that freaking movie. Shout out to Chris Hemsworth. Um, and who's the one that was from Grey's Anatomy got the big penis? Oh, Jesse Williams. All of them was up in that movie. Loved it. Even Fran Kranz, who I remember was on, he did a lot of oh my god, what is Joss Whedon? He was in a lot of Joss Whedon projects. I think he was also in that show. Was he in that show True Calling with Eliza Dushku? So yeah, I'm taking y'all back. So the Matrix was released in '99 with widespread acclaim. Went to the movies and saw that too because I was like, "What is this film?" It was just like this movie. I'm seeing people flying through the air and cool costumes and how it had like this sort of futuristic but noirish look. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm watching, but I need to see this movie. And The Matrix, the first one, changed my life because it got me more into like philosophy and all the other things that like being a deep thinker. I was just so much into like everything that was about a lot of the stuff that they were talking about in the film. All the different allegories and things of that nature. Plus, as a fan of martial arts and stuff, and wire fu and all that stuff from those movies back in the day, from the likes of Jet Li and Jackie Chan and that sort of stuff. Seeing that incorporated in this film, like just a hodgepodge of different genres, I was like, I definitely need to see this movie. And like I said, that film changed my life back in '99. And then they went and made a bunch of other ones like The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, which, were one movie split, they split it. They shot it all at the same time, and then it was just two different movies. But I felt like The Matrix Reloaded, while it had really cool action sequences and there was a lot more violence and a lot more action and cool set pieces, I felt like the story was a little too convoluted. And I felt like that because of the success of The Matrix, Warner Brothers got on the Wachowskis and was like, we need you to just come up with something and make this. We need you to kind of strike while the iron is hot, so come up with more stuff. And I don't think they had a lot of ideas past that first movie. I don't think they had. It just felt like they didn't have a lot of that. And then the Matrix Resolutions, I'm like, if this is what Zion looked like, I don't want to stay here. I want to be like Cypher and go back to the Matrix because Zion is ugly. It don't look comfortable. It look cold as hell. It look like it smell like motor oil and ass and sweaty socks. I don't want to live in that. So I would rather live in the fake ass Matrix because it's prettier to look at and you ain't got to deal with a lot of stuff. But nevertheless, they talk about making another one. And that's why I said the only reason why I'm interested in this is because Drew Goddard is behind it. So, and then Lily Wachowski came back for, or was it Lana? No, I think it was Lana who did Matrix Resurrections, but that movie was terrible, and that came out in 2021. So now they said that similarly struggled to strike a chord with fans, was widely considered a disappointment, grossing 160 million against a reported $190 million budget. So it didn't even make its money back. And my thing is this: where the hell did that $190 million budget go towards? Because there was nothing groundbreaking worth watching in that movie, especially when it came to the action sequences. The action sequences were non-existent, and the ones that were in the movie, I'm like, Lana, you have shot better shit. Like, what were you doing? Like the first Matrix movie, you shot that with your sibling. So how you came up in here? The shots looked terrible. It looked uninspired. The script was a mess. The action didn't seem all that inspiring. I was just bored with the film. So Goddard recently spoke with Screen Rant via sffgazette.com and confirmed that the fifth installment is still in the works, saying, I'm in my writing cave writing. I don't know how long I'll be in the writing cave, but whenever I come out, I'll have news to share. So last summer, rumors swirled that after past rumblings of a reboot starring Michael B. Jordan, the plan was to bring Keanu Reeves back into the fold. Fans aren't exactly crying out for a reboot, so continuing the story with a familiar lead and new approach might be what's needed to help make the franchise relevant again. Because I was going to say, like, what idea could they possibly come up with? And I do feel like maybe this is the way to go about it. Because I definitely would love to see Michael B. Jordan in The Matrix. Because remember, Will Smith at one point was supposed to be Neo and turned it down. I also believe Brad Pitt was supposed to be Neo at one point and turned it down. And then Keanu Reeves came on board, which, when we look back on it now, Keanu Reeves was the better choice. Because him playing that whole sense of wonder, like just going down this rabbit hole and the self-discovery journey that he goes on, to me, no one could play that role better than Keanu Reeves. And does this mean that we got a nostalgia bait? Because that's what this feels like to me. You're saying, let's go and nostalgia bait the fans and be like, yeah, let's bring in somebody familiar like Keanu Reeves, who's Neo. You did that with the last one, him and Trinity, and then that whole storyline was a mess. We got basically made them both the one. And now they're restructuring the Matrix. So I don't know if he's going to use that as canon or just come in and do his own thing. But I definitely think that Keanu and Carrie Ann should be brought back. How, in whatever fashion, figure that out. I don't think they need to be a focal point. I don't think y'all need to make them as to the forefront like y'all, like number one on the call sheet, like Nev Campbell and Scream, where y'all decided, well, y'all realize y'all fucked up and I haven't in that last movie. That is like, okay, we got to definitely atone for our screw up. So you can bring them in. I think that they can have maybe a fight scene or two and also help these new band of rebels with whatever journey they're about to go on. But I do think that we need a new lead and somebody to take this on if there's a story there. And maybe you could bring in someone like a Michael B. Jordan, but if he's not available, then Damson Idris. I'm trying to give Damson Idris every damn job because word on the street is that well, there's been names being thrown about James Bond and stuff. I'd actually like to see Damson Idris play James Bond, but me, I want to see him play the new Black Panther. So if y'all can find an interesting story to tell with this, I'll be here for it. But but yeah, but I think like the familiarity of it all, seeing the old gang come back, even bring back Morpheus. Because one of the things that pissed me off about that last one, y'all did not put Lawrence Fishburne up in the movie. Y'all replace him with Yahya Abdul Mateen the second, right? I was trying to remember if he was the first or the second, but yeah, y'all brought in Yahya for that, and Yahya definitely resembles Lawrence Fishburne in the face, and even the physicality back in the day. But they're not the same person. Bring Lawrence Fishburne back. You can have Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus up in there, and then give them some cool shit to do. And if they are too old to do some of the action, we got stunt doubles. So, um, then there was a story that they were saying that Jessica Henwick, who was in The Matrix Resurrections, that they were going to make a spinoff with her Bugs character. I don't think that that would work because nobody's going to care. But if they want to incorporate Bugs in the next Matrix movie and utilize her character way better than they did in the last one, then I would definitely be up for that. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you all here for a Matrix sequel? I don't know if it's going to be a sequel or a reboot or a rebootquel, whatever you want to call it. But and when this does finally happen, what would you like to see them explore? Because to me, I feel like the idea of the Matrix definitely is what we're in right now in this very moment with the way our country is being run with corporations and tech oligarchs and all this other mess. And the people fighting, you have the rebels fighting against the machine and fascism and that sort of thing. There was a lot of those metaphors up in those movies. And but you can still use that, but also redefine the action, the visual effects, because that's what we loved about the Matrix. They brought in all these things like martial arts and all these other vibes, wire fu, and definitely pushed the boundaries of tech, meaning the visual effects, the bullet time and all that other stuff, and then the 360 cameras where they were showing like the slow-mo shots. So there was a lot of that was in the movie that we all loved, and I'm hoping that they can give us something new to glance at when we get to the next film and not just reheat y'all damn nachos for, you know, a quick buck. Because if we see through that shit, if y'all try to make a sixth one, then it's like, oh no, we done. We're not going to sit up in here and support this genre, this franchise no more. Because I definitely feel like there's more to give with this franchise. We just need somebody with fresh eyes and really cool ideas to execute what it could possibly be. And I definitely feel like Drew Goddard can do that based off of his track record and his reputation as a great screenwriter. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Raphael's in the building. I'm glad Will Smith passed this role. This was exactly. That's why I was like, he didn't need to be in that film. Lanier says the latest Matrix ticked me off because the horrible script and whatever they want to call a plot. There's also that amateur makeup job they did to age. Oh yeah, that was another bad one. I totally forgot about. I'm like, what y'all making her old? We don't know black don't crack. And if you have an older black woman in the movie, like you could have Jada Pinkett play a 70-year-old, still look the same. Because there's black women that's 70 years old that look like Jada Pinkett, like good skin, take care of themselves, still youthful. But yeah, but that was a bad one too. I totally forgot about that scene. The last one made me not too motivated to see another one. I'll proceed with exactly. We'll be cautiously optimistic. But like I said, the only reason why I'm interested is because of Drew Goddard. Well, now let's talk about another franchise that has me cautiously optimistic, and that's Resident Evil, because Zach Cregger is currently filming a Resident Evil movie. I like Zach Cregger. Weapons definitely had a good time with that film. Shout out to Amy Madigan, and we're going to get into that later on with the SAG Awards or the Actors Awards, since that's what they're calling it. But yeah, Amy Madigan won an award for her role as Aunt Gladys. So Zach Cregger's out here making great films. I like a lot of what he's been dropping so far. And so now he is actually currently filming a Resident Evil movie. And so we may have a little insight of what we could expect from this film because I had no idea the budget was 80 million. But to me, 80 million actually sounds fairly reasonable for this type of genre. So shout out to Bloody Disgusting for this story. Now having produced the likes of It, The Ring, and Doctor Sleep, in addition to working on both of Zach Cregger's previous films, Barbarian and Weapons, two movies I actually like, by the way. One of the girls that's in Barbarian, she's in this new horror movie that came out. What was it, last month? Didn't get the greatest reviews. I forgot what it's called, but she's like tracking down some serial killer who killed her husband. It is like a bad. It just looked like some poor man's ripoff of Seven and Silence of the Lambs. But anyway, they said it's safe to say Roy Lee knows a thing or two about horror movies. Yeah, Roy Lee is definitely the man when it comes to producing and stuff. Like he's produced a lot of iconic films. So I'm a fan of Roy Lee. Now, speaking with Greek Tyrant, Lee shared some insight about Cregger's upcoming take on Resident Evil, saying it's like a roller coaster ride of nonstop action, of just showing a point of view of a character in an original story in the world of Raccoon City, where it's like the experience of watching the movie is similar to the experience you will get playing the game, which is what Zach is trying to do. He's definitely spent a lot of time prepping various shots that will impress the audience in ways they've not seen things before. If you think about the progression of Zach's movies, it went from a $4 million movie to a $38 million movie, and now like an $80+ million movie. And each time the money's going on screen, which is always the thing that I've always complained about because I'm like, if your budget was X, Y, and Z, why does it not look like y'all use that? What was y'all spending the money on? Because it don't look like you put the money into that film. Because I'll be looking at certain things. I'm like, okay, so your budget is $150 million. What did you use it on? Craft services? Did you pocket half of it? Because it ain't shown in this movie. But so then they went on to say, they said the script was written by Shay Haddon, who wrote John Wick's Chapter 3 and 4. I love John Wick. I love the franchise. Part 3 was a little too overstuffed with things that are going on up in there. But Part 4, definitely great movie, beginning, middle, and end. Perfect film, the way to close out Chapter 4. So Shay Haddon coming in, definitely curious to see what is going to be happening. But this movie comes out this year. It comes out actually on September 18th from Sony. Now, Cregger previously stated, I'm definitely not trying to be completely obedient to the lore of the games. I'm trying to tell a story that just feels authentic to the experience you get when you play the games. So I guess with the visuals and stuff, he wants to show like, yeah, I want you to feel like you're in there playing the game, but I think he's coming up with completely different characters, and we're following these people in Raccoon City, which I think is a much interesting idea. I just got to see a trailer or something or another in order to be okay with it. But I know people's gonna be what? No Claire Redfield, no Chris Redfield, no Jill Valentine. Like I'm sure maybe those characters. Who knows if they don't? I mean, maybe they'll appear in the film, but if they don't, if you're going to tell an original story that takes place within Raccoon City and is a bunch of characters that we could care about, that if you bring in those Claires and Jills and Chris's and Ada Wong and all these other characters and Leon, if you bring in these characters, then they automatically come with a set of plot armor. Because if anything happens to those characters, y'all gonna get mad, you're gonna hate on Zach Cregger, and you're gonna want his head on a pike. And to me, I was like, it'd be easy. Maybe you can have them coming in and out, like during the scene where you see stars or whatever on the street and they battling the zombies, you'll see those characters in passing. Or, they'll play a pinnacle role in some way. But I definitely think it'd be smart to create a whole new set of characters in this world. And it's Resident Evil, but just with a new set of people. That's something different. It's something new. And if you want to see those other characters, even though I know y'all probably gonna get mad if I say if you want to see those characters for the games, go watch the Mila Jovovich movies. But I know some of y'all have an issue with those. No shade, but those Resident Evils are guilty pleasures of mine. I know they're not the most perfect, but anytime I can see Mila Jovovich on camera beating people up, I want to see it. Sidebar: had y'all had any idea she's 50 years old? I was reading something yesterday because she has a movie. I don't even think it came out. I think it was called Aftermath or Afterglow, after something. She has a post-apocalyptic movie that's out with monsters or whatever. It's her and Luke Evans. I think they're playing a married couple or whatever the case is. And I was reading it. They said she was born 1975. I said, bitch, where is Mila Jovovich 50? She looks good. So, and she's out here still doing action movies because she has one coming out this week up against wait, what's the movie that's coming out? I forgot, what is the movie that's coming out this week? Um, oh, The Bride. That's what's coming. Because I was like, wait, I had to think for a second. I was like, yeah, The Bride's coming out this week, which I actually kind of want to see that, but I don't know if I'm going to run to the theater to see that movie. So yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, who's in this film? So they said Austin Abrams, who y'all know played the junkie in Weapons. He's a good actor. Paul Walter Hauser, who's in everything. Zach Cherry, who's from Severance. Callie Reese, who y'all may remember from True Detective Night Country. And John Ho Wilson from Twisted Metal. So they got a lot of people over here that y'all would consider unknowns, which I think it might be interesting too, because y'all don't know who these actors are. They're relatively unknowns. And to me, it's like, yeah, that makes me nervous because then there's no plot armor around these characters. And one of the things that I think is hurting a lot of movies, particularly in horror these days and mainstream horror, is the plot armor they put on their characters. I'm looking at you, Scream. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Does this make you even more interested in checking out Zach Cregger's Resident Evil? So far, in my opinion, it's 2 for 2, which is Barbarian and Weapons. Loved both movies. So I'm really hoping that his Resident Evil could be a whole, a triple trifecta. So it's like we have 2 for 2 and then we get that third, you know, we'll be cooking with gas. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. We need to make Resident Evil scary because it was that's and I think that's always hurt the franchise is that it's not scary. Thank you. It was called Psycho Killer. It got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like they said, oh, you looked again, it went up 11%. It's still bad. Yeah, when I saw that trailer in the movies, when I saw it in front of, I was like, this looks whack. There's this one movie that I do want to see. I forget what it's called. Oh, it's called Passenger, where these two guys are driving down a road. I don't know what the hell the movie's about. These two passengers are driving around the road. The guy was like, "I'm not stopping for no pee break." And he said, "Oh no, I can retain water." I think he said so many ways. I'm a camel. I can hold water. All of a sudden, he's sitting in the seat, shaking because he got to pee because he drank all that damn water. His friend's like, "I knew it." Then he pulls over. He's peeing. Then he's like, the horn beeps. Friend's like, "I'm coming. Give me a second." Then he's hearing the horn goes off again. He goes up there. The horn is still beeping, but there's nobody in the car. So then he gets in the car, closes the door. He's looking around for his friend. Friend flies through the window. Then he starts driving, and then he's literally, it's like he's going around in one big circle because there's some guy that's on the side of the road while he's driving. And then he's going around, then comes around again, guys outside, comes around again, guys outside. The next thing you know, he looks in the passenger seat, and the guy that was on, he passed, is sitting next to him. Instant jump scare. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this movie is, but that looks different. That looks interesting. One of the movies another trailer that they were showing that I'm like, I don't know about this one. It's Blumhouse. And Blumhouse, y'all been more missed than hit. Is the one with there was some guy that was trying to alter a wish or something or another. I still don't understand what the fuck that movie's about. I'm like, this do not look interesting. Looks stupid. And Blumhouse, y'all been playing in my face one too many times in regards of me thinking something gonna be scary, and then I watch, I'm like, so when am I gonna be like? Y'all playing with my emotions, and I don't like that. Like, give me a good scary movie. Don't bait us, because then we ain't gonna be able to trust y'all with the type of content y'all be putting out. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our next topic. And let's talk about Alan Cumming, who's finally speaking out regarding the whole BAFTAs thing. So the BAFTAs happened about a week ago, but now I guess he's feeling compelled to come out and give a little commentary on what regarding the aftermath. So BAFTAs host Alan Cumming took the IG on Monday, which was yesterday, to address the outbursts of Tourette's campaigner John Davison at the 79th edition of the ceremony, during which he shouted the N-word while sinners, well, he said nigga bitch, while sinners star Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage. Now, I do have his Instagram post, so hold on as I pull that up. And he said the following. He said, it's now a week since I hosted the BAFTAs, what should have been an evening celebrating creativity and inclusion turned into a trauma-triggering shit show. I'm so sorry for all the pain Black people have felt at hearing that word echoed around the world. I'm so sorry the Tourette's community has been reminded of the lack of understanding and tolerance that abounds regarding their condition. And with him saying that, it's literally like two things can be true at the same time. I don't feel like that they genuinely, the BAFTAs handled this relatively well. Yeah, they put out the disclaimer, oh, we're going to have somebody in the audience who has Tourette's and that sort of thing. And one of the things I was saying before, let me get to finish this and then get to the other point. We have somebody in the audience who has Tourette's, so everybody should be mindful of what it is that he's going to say or whatever triggers, whatever the case is. But also, you getting a lashing, a Black person, Black people, because it was two, having to endure this, hearing this word when throughout their lives they probably had to hear being called that word by some asshole racist on the street or for whatever reason. Oh, you're an N-word, you're this and that. And Black people had to endure dealing with that word all their lives. So there's a trigger there. And one of the things about people with Tourette's, their mind makes them say the thing that you should not say. So trying to have an understanding of people with Tourette's, I get that. I blame the BAFTAs and I blame BBC. They should have edited it out. Just like if y'all had no problem editing out, and I want to get his name because I mentioned him so many times on this show, but I've never said his name. Akinola Davies Jr. He he was a two-time Emmy winner. Oh wait, no, the two-time Emmy winner was Cumming. He directed. There was a director that did a movie called My Father's Shadow, and he did a speech about it was a bunch of things that he was talking about, like the genocide and all those other stuff. Said Free Palestine. That was edited. That was cut out. Other things were cut out, but you left nigga up in there. This is what we're doing in 2026. So it's okay for them to hear that word. And funny enough, this is the most press and attention that the BAFTAs has gotten ever. So I could definitely see why they probably looked at this as this is publicity for us. And and I guess the old saying is any publicity is good publicity. But in this case, no. But he also went on to say this. The only possible good that could come from this, could come of this is a reminder that words matter, that rushing to judgment about things in which we are not fully cognizant is folly, and all trauma must be recognized and honored. And the fact of the matter that you didn't protect Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo from hearing that word and warning them of what was about to transpire, whatever the case was. And you also didn't protect John Davison because of his condition, knowing full and well what his condition was. And the fact that y'all placed a microphone next to him so that way y'all could pick up on those cues, because he can't suppress the words that he's going to say, because they said because from somebody like Jumaane Williams, who's a politician out of New York who suffers from Tourette's, he gave a thorough understanding of what Tourette's is and the different levels and the different things and the harm reduction and all that stuff that goes with it. When I was watching this interview with Ebro Laura Rosenberg, I think it was one of the episodes from last week. It might have been Thursday or Wednesday, whatever. If you want, definitely look it up on YouTube and try to get an understanding. So instead of me just flying them, and it's like, yeah, it's a it's an immediate reaction when someone, if you're going to hear the N-word, what you automatically think, oh, he's got to be racist. And I think it's because we've been so bombarded with a lot of hatred and vitriol and racism in our politics especially with the current regime using racism and all these other things as a distraction while they rape and pillage, metaphorically and literally, um, and suck this country dry of its resources. So they want us to be fighting amongst each other with the racism and saying trans people are trying to go up in your bathrooms and do all this other mess, or the immigrants are stealing your jobs or whatever the case. So all these distractions, all of this comes from our current situation we're in. And when you're a person of color and you have to endure, when you're an other, you have to endure hearing this shit every day, automatically you're gonna lean right into, oh, this person might be a racist. When maybe they're not. They probably don't have any kind of racism in their heart. They have a condition. It'd be interesting for doctors to go in and be like, what causes people with Tourette's to say some of the most derogatory things, particularly if you're going to say something derogatory towards a woman, towards gay people, towards black people, towards anybody who is an other, towards a Jewish person, whatever the case is. That's what got me interested in wanting to learn more about Tourette's. Like, what causes, I've always, just in general, what causes people to do the things that they do, or what makes their mind tick and that sort of thing. Maybe that's why I'm into serial killers or, with those true crime podcasts. So yeah, and then I think, so what was it? Oh yeah, there was another piece. So some people was in the comments. One person said absolutely none of this was your fault, and yet you have provided the most eloquent apology of all. Well, I think what people were pissed off about Alan comment is that they felt like he was excusing the guy's behavior. I don't know if maybe he was told to say that on a teleprompter, or this was just a reactionary thing because they realized, like, oh god, the shit done hit the fan. So I don't necessarily know, but I think that's what people were pissed off about. They felt that it was like you were kind of being dismissive of Michael and Delroy's feelings on how they received it. I had somebody in my comments, and I was this close to cussing their ass about. I was like, you a public figure. You can't be on here cussing people out in the comments, especially when they leave. I just hid them and removed their posts because they said some shit on this, like, people got to be stop being so sensitive about words or whatever. First of all, you don't get to dictate and control and tell people, particularly black people, on how to feel about being called a derogatory word that carries centuries of hate. Not nigga wasn't built yesterday. That word didn't come out of somebody's ass yesterday. That is tied to slavery. That is tied to a lot of different things that's going on in the world. And that word carries weight and is traumatic for a lot of people, particularly black people up today and ancestors. All of that shit rolled down for over 400 years. So to tell people to not get all their titties in a twist over a word, who the fuck are you to say that? Worry about yourself. Now, if somebody said something derogatory towards you, I hope you have that same damn energy. So, also Cumming said that look, they said the BAFTAs did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment after what he said. Of course not. Fuck the BAFTAs. Cumming also added that he felt let down that the BBC allowed the N-word to be audible on air while at the same time choosing to censor free speech because of the whole thing I told you about Akinola Davies with the Free Palestine situation. And Cumming basically said congratulations to all the BAFTA award winners. I don't think he'll be going back to doing the next year. There's some girl in there is like, what happened? Sis, have you been living under a rock? Um, so yeah, let me see what else the people are saying on here before we move on. Another person, oh Alan, as a fan, I'm disappointed mostly with BAFTA/BBC, but at your immediate response as well. See, this is what I was talking about. It said, thank you for finally saying something about the black community that was also affected by what happened. Let me like that post because I agree with her. So um and they also censored Free Palestine, but not that. Yeah, well, we know he mentioned that in his post on Instagram. Another person said, as a disabled person myself with a neurological condition, my heart goes out to John, Michael, Delroy, and Hannah. The black, oh yeah, because Hannah was someone who worked on centers that was also called the N word. The black and disabled communities should not be punching across, but instead joining together and punch upwards at the people who put our communities in this position in the first place. More needs to be done to respect each other's identities and conditions. So, like I said before, with anything, I am more upset at Alan Cumming's immediate response, which pissed me off, and the how the BAFTAs and the BBC still try to handle this situation. They try to walk it back, but it's like, you made your bed. We see what y'all was doing. There's no coming back from it. Fuck y'all and your tired ass award show. And we'll see if any black movies get nominated next season, if a lot of you same step and fetches will head up over there and still support the BAFTAs, especially when they showed you how they truly feel about y'all. So, but look, Alan walked it back. He came in and he said what he said on social media. And I truly believe that he's genuine with what his post basically said. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the BAFTAs and Alan Cumming calling it a shit show after the whole N-word situation? So whatever your thoughts are, and it damn sure was, because we pretty much unpacked it all and said it was nothing but a shit show. Let me know what you think of this story in the comments down below. Didn't the Therese guy finally post about this? I saw something to he probably did. I might have missed it. So yeah. I might have missed it. So I don't know. Um it said the BAFTAs may have been the most responsible, but they were tolerant of those. Wait, the BAFTAs may have been the most responsible, but they were tolerant of those with Tourette's. So that quoted misunderstanding is targeted towards the same people. Ooh, as it should be. He said, "Oh, okay, yes, he spoke yesterday to people. I sent you the update." Oh, did he? Hold on. Oh, yeah, they're saying he apologizes for the pain. Child, why didn't you do that in the beginning? Why not be waiting until nobody gives a damn anymore to finally speak out? You need that much time to process? You that slow? So it says Tourette syndrome advocate John Davidson is apologizing for the distress caused by his yelling a racial slur at the 2026 BAFTA Awards. Davidson was 52, yelled the N word as a, yeah, okay, we know. What did he say? He said, I've been waiting all week until the dust settles. Oh, so that's why, is that what everybody does? Wait till the dust settles? Maybe that's the best way to go about it instead of getting caught up in the tornado of it all. And people are just, nah, you're a racist, like Jamie Foxx automatically coming out and assuming, oh, no, you meant that shit. It's like, you don't know what's in that man's heart. I've been waiting all week until the dust settles after. Oh, what? See, this is what I hate about this shit because then ads start popping up. Once again, I've been waiting all week until the dust settles after the weekend at the BAFTAs in London. I would like to thank each and every one of you who have shown love, support, and solidarity towards myself and the rest of the Tourette's community. Your kind words and support have got me through a very difficult week. Whilst I will never apologize for having Tourette's, I will apologize for any pain, upset, and misunderstanding that it may create. Because yeah, that it was that if you were offended thing in that whole comment that people was mad about. Davidson attended the BAFTAs represent. Oh yeah, and then another thing, I was kind of saying, oh, but maybe he should have stayed in a suite or whatever the case was. And it's like, you know what? This will be the first and only time this man is ever going to be acknowledged at an award show. Why should we have to subject him to go in a room so that way he can't be a part of a community that celebrates making movies? The fucked up part of the whole situation was how they put a microphone practically up his ass so they could capture some of the things he was going to say to start some shit. So I feel like it was setting up. They were all set up by the BAFTAs. It said this past week has been rough, and it has reminded me that I do raise. Wait, it said this past week has been tough, and it has reminded me that what I do raising awareness for such a misunderstood condition, there is still a long way to go, and I will keep on keeping on until this is achieved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. So, but they basically said that his apology came hours after Lindo publicly addressed the BAFTA slur incident out on stage at the 2026 NAACP Image Awards on Saturday, February 28th, saying we appreciate all the support and love we have been shown in the aftermath of what happened last weekend. It means a lot to us. And that's when, that was when he was presenting an award to Ryan Coogler, which I believe made history as the first director to win, I think, an award for Best Ensemble. And that was for Sinners. And the first time yeah, what the hell was it? It was Sinners and it was Black Panther. That's what it was. But thank you for that. Spain Spain banned the U.S. from using the Air Force. I thought you was gonna say Spain banned the U.S. from coming over. I was like, bitch, I got friends that live in Spain. I'm supposed to be visiting them because they were like, um, until that fascist is out of office, we're not coming back there. They said you gonna have to come to us. I was like, fine, because I know y'all got a spot out there, so I can stay with y'all, and we can just do the clubs, and we can do all the scenery stuff, and have a good old time, and I can give me a Spaniard. I recently saw a Black English female entertainer who said that this is not the first time the BAFTAs played in Black people's faces. So she was glad to see Black Americans weren't. Good to know, because wasn't there, and I believe it too, because there was a person, can't remember who it was, but I think he was on the board or whatever, a Black dude was on the board and dropped out because he said that it's just been way too many incidences and I can no longer be a part of the shenanigans. So he left. I wouldn't put it past PR teams to begin blaming some form of Tourette's when they're. Look, there was a meme there was a meme that was going around, and I posted it where it said, it takes a scene from Sinners. It was like y'all clan at the top, and at the bottom you see the white people said, "Nah, I got Tourette's." So I think there may be some truth to that. What you said, they're gonna blame Tourette's. I'm like, motherfucker, please. We ain't seen you out here twitching or having any of them damn symptoms. Where your doctors know? All right, y'all. So now let's go from the BAFTAs to the Actors Awards. I don't know why they call it the Actors Awards. I think it's so stupid. I mean, we all know that SAG is the union for actors. SAG-AFTRA. But anyway, so the Actors Awards happened over the weekend. Congratulations to all the winners and this, that, and the other. But the biggest one happened to come from none other than Michael B. Jordan, who basically shocked everybody by beating out people like Timothy Chalamet. So, despite critical acclaim and early awards accolades for his starring role in Marty Supreme, Timothée Chalamet suffered his second Best Actor loss at a high-profile Oscar Precursor Award show in a week, losing the Actor Award to Sinners' Michael Bakari Jordan after losing the BAFTA Awards Best Actor prize to surprise winner Robert Aramayo of I Swear. Oh yeah, we just talked about that story. That was the Tourette's movie. Sinners, a vampire movie that unfolds in the segregated South, triumphed at the 2026 Actor Awards on Sunday night, winning the top prize for Best Ensemble in a Motion Picture, while its star Michael B. Jordan was named Best Lead Actor. The studio, a setup of many of the power brokers in the show's audience, won a leading 3 awards, including Best Ensemble in a Comedy Series. The Pitt, a gritty medical drama, was close behind with 2 awards, including Best Ensemble in a Drama Series. The prizes, which were known as the Screen Actors Guild Awards until the name was changed last November, which I think y'all need to go back to it. I do not like the Actors Awards title, but whatever. That's y'all got to deal with that. Are handed out by the labor union SAG-AFTRA and honor the best performances on both the big and small screens. On the film front, Jessie Buckley was named Best Lead Actress for playing a grief-stricken mother in Hamnet. Speaking of which, I'm looking forward to seeing Jessie Buckley as the bride in this new movie called The Bride that's coming out. Yeah, that's her. In case I don't know if that was her. In there, she's playing the bride of Frankenstein in this movie, directed and written by Maggie Gyllenhaal. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And I think people became familiar with her because of Hamnet, but I definitely feel like the bride is going to blow her up. Um, and he said, while Jordan was recognized for his turn as bootlegging twins in Sinners. saying, quote, just being in the room right now with all these people who saw me grow up in front of the camera, I feel the love and support that you've always given me and encouraged me to go on and do my best. Well, that's true because, like I've said many a times, Michael B. Jordan, I've been following his career since he played Reggie Montgomery on All My Children. That's how far back. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he was on The Wire or something. Yeah, he was on The Wire, Wire Schmeyer. And I watched The Wire too. But he will always be Jesse Montgomery from All My Children. Yeah, I was a soaphead. Now, I'll say, where did I go? Okay, so now Ryan Coogler, the winner of Sinners, made history, becoming the first director to helm two Best Ensemble winners, as I told y'all earlier, in the history of the Actor Awards. He previously won the top prize with 2018's Black Panther. The Actor Awards are seen as an important precursor to the Oscars, which will take place on March 15th. Is it me, or does it feel like that we should have gotten the Oscars a long time ago? I feel like it is way too late in the season for the Oscars. Y'all need to bring it back. I understand because of the pandemic and all this other stuff, like y'all pushed it up further, and then the writer strikes and the actor strikes and all the other stuff. But y'all need to bring the Oscars back. When did they used to air the Oscars? Was it the end of February and the beginning of March around that time? Y'all need to bring it back there. Like it's too into the month of March. It's like in mid-March. Like it don't feel right. So I think y'all need to bring it back a little bit and make it earlier because it's just these award shows. I'm just like, it's a little too late. But okay. So they also said the Actor Awards is seen as an important precursor to the Oscars, which will take place on March 15th. Sinners, which has a record-breaking 16 nominations, is locked in a tight race with One Battle After Another, which won big at the Directors Guild Awards and the Producers Guild Awards. Supporting actor prizes went to two villainous performances, which Sean Penn, as rightfully deserved, because I loved him in One Battle After Another. He was a pain in the ass in that damn movie, but he ate with that role. He ate down with that part, in One Battle After Another. And Amy Madigan won for playing a literal witch in Weapons. So, and then Amy Madigan basically said actors love other actors. They just love being with them. And y'all see her in the picture. She's the second one next to, who is that? Delroy Lindo? Yeah. So, or I don't know why that looked like Eddie Murphy. The first picture. But yeah, Amy Madigan, love her, well deserved. I kind of now this makes me wonder, do the now that they've won these actor awards and they're saying like, yeah, actors love actors, and these are the people who vote on their peers. So it kind of makes me wonder, does Michael B. Jordan have a bigger shot at winning the award for Best Actor? And I definitely look at Michael B. Jordan as like he's a force to be reckoned with. I definitely was looking at him as possibly winning, him or Leo DiCaprio. I know everybody's got their head up Timothy's skinny little ass, but to me, it's like it feels the whole thing surrounding Timothy Chalamet and this whole Oscar run and campaign and them trying to get votes or whatever the case. It feels so pretentious. And to me, I feel like I need the RuPaul's Drag Race edit, meaning that people who y'all know should win. Oh, I just want to fuck with you because I want to get a reaction. So we're not going to give you the Oscar this year. To me, I was like, look, if any one of these guys win, it's no skin off my nose. Leo DiCaprio was good in One Battle After Another. I've heard great things about Timothy Chalamet's performance in Marty Supreme, even though I heard the movie's not that great, but he's good in it. And I love Michael B. Jordan playing the Smokestack twins in Sinners. And to me, I would give it to Michael B. Jordan only because it's not easy playing two complex characters. Well, technically, he played three because he played twins, and then he had to play one as a human and the other one as a vampire. So the nuance of playing those characters, the multi-layeredness he had to bring to that part, the complexities that he had to channel playing those different characters and their different ticks and emotions and how they come across, how you can tell Smoke from Stack and all the other stuff. So playing all that up, it's not easy playing twins, especially when you're not a twin. So I definitely think because of that, and plus everything of the multi-layeredness of Sinners is why I want that movie to win over all the other ones. Now, there was other people that got awards as well, and not just them. So let's get into those characters or those people. So Seth Rogen The co-creator of the studio earned the prize of lead actor in a comedy series for playing a hapless movie chief. His co-star, Catherine O'Hara, who passed away in January at age 71, was a posthumous winner for lead actress. Rogen accepted her prize and reflected on O'Hara's habit of offering suggestions that enhance her character in the studio. And that's what I love about it when you're a performer, that it could be a collaborative effort. It's like, here's some ideas I have. I want to run them by you, see if we can incorporate it or whatever case is in there. And I like the whole collaborative effort instead of being like, no, I have an idea that's written in the script. You're going to just follow it to the T. Okay, whatever. So, so yeah, he paid tribute to her and all this stuff. And then people said that this was an upset. Kerry Russell, who played a wily ambassador in The Diplomat, was named Best Lead Actress in a drama over Pluribus's Rhea Seehorn. I've heard Pluribus is boring, but whatever. Noah Wiley got a Emmy and a Golden Globe for his performance in The Pitt. He added a statue for lead actor in a drama series. Michelle Williams won Best Actress in a Limited Series for playing a woman with terminal cancer and dying for sex. Owen Cooper, the 16-year-old star of Adolescence, beat out his co-star Stephen Graham in the Best Actor in a Limited Series category. I believe this kid is almost an EGOT winner. I think he has an Emmy, he has a Grammy. No, or is it a Tony? I think he has a Tony too. I think he has an Emmy, a Tony, and this award that he has, the Screen Actors Guild Award. Harrison Ford actually got the Lifetime Achievement Award, which and then they said, but the night wasn't entirely celebratory. The actor awards were held in the U.S. and as the they said that the awards were held as the US and Israel are basically starting fights with Iran because, this is the Epstein war that we're in right now. They don't want they want to distract us from the Epstein files. They know how deep that rabbit hole goes. There's certain things in them files that they don't want out and being exposed, especially when it comes to this president and how deeply connected he was with Jeffrey Epstein, and how Jeffrey Epstein, even though that's a disgusting, deplorable, despicable excuse of a human being, the one credit I will give that man is that he kept records of everything that was going on. So in case Mossad or Netanyahu and all these other people that he was in bed with, a lot of these criminals, the CIA, all these other people that he was in bed with, try to come for him, oh, he got receipts. And the shits was coming out. So, there you have it. I mean, I don't want to go on any longer because I feel like it's just still a lot. But so, congratulations to all the winners. Particularly, let's go through real quick. Cast ensemble went to Sinners. Male actor in a leading role went to Michael B. Jordan. Female actor in a leading role went to Jessie Buckley. Male actor in a supporting role went to Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. Female actor in a supporting role went to Amy Madigan for Weapons. And stunt ensemble in a motion picture went to Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. In the TV categories, we had The Pitt, won for Best Ensemble in a Drama Series. Best Ensemble in a Comedy Series went to The Studio. Best Male Actor in a Drama Series went to Noah Wiley in The Pit. Female actor in drama series went to Kerry Russell. Male actor in the comedy series went to Seth Rogen. Female actor in the comedy series went to Catherine O'Hara. Male actor in a TV, movie, or limited series went to Owen Cooper for Adolescence. Female actor in a TV, movie, or limited series went to Michelle Williams, Dying for Sex. And stunt ensemble in a television series, because we did the movies, which was Mission Impossible. TV went to The Last of Us, which I'm kind of side-eyeing because I'm like, The Last of Us, really? Wasn't really a lot of action in that. But a part of that category, they had Stranger Things, Andor, Landman, and Squid Game. I would have probably given it to Andor, but when you look at all these other things, I feel like that was just like, I don't know about any of it. Let's just pick The Last of Us and call it a day. So that's why I kind of feel with that. But anyway, I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the actor awards and Michael B. Jordan pulling an upset? Do you think that now he has a better chance of winning the Oscar over, Timothy Chalamet and Leo DiCaprio? I haven't really heard much about Leo DiCaprio in this whole situation, so I don't think he's going to win. But I think it's definitely going to be between Michael and Timothy. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said there was an SNL skit, J.K. Rowling banned Tourette's from being anti. Oh, please. She's so annoying. They said it was blackface in that Tourette's movie too. Oh, was it? I haven't seen it. First of all, I didn't even hear this damn movie until the controversy was surrounding it. Do you think iHeart is regretting that Netflix podcast deal? Oh, yeah. I meant to bring that up. Thank you for reminding me. Because Just Hilarious just came out and was like, there might be some that it might have not been a good idea to wait, hold on, let me look it up. Because who had it? Joshua Jamal Martin. Hold on. Cause yeah, she went and said that yeah, it might have been a mistake for them to sign that deal. When I found it, hold on. They quit. Okay, so yeah, let me pull it up. We're gonna watch the clip as a class since you brought it up, and then we'll give our opinions. Let me get the video ready. Oh,
I ain't gonna lie, yo, since Breakfast Club been on Netflix, man, our engagement, our people be all the fans that we built up over time, or that they built up. I just got here. That they built up over time on YouTube. Oh my God, they feel neglected because Netflix was like, nope, we want all of it. Y'all can't have no other social media presence, none. So now we got to find other content to do that can go on our other platforms. But it's okay because Just Hilarious got that in a bag, shorty. Submission.
okay. So she can't spend 5 minutes not trying to sound and act like a goddamn man on camera. But I do think that it might be a mistake in a lot of ways because now when once you cross that bridge and you go from YouTube, which YouTube is the most accessible avenue that you can use for a podcast. Yeah, we have Patreons and yeah, you have Substacks and yeah, you have all these different things that you could use in order to express yourself creatively. But what they want is that they want you to go over to YouTube with a subscription, and I mean not YouTube, to Netflix with a subscription. Because I definitely have the podcast on on my Netflix channel because I have Netflix. So anytime I can watch the Breakfast Club, the problem is I don't particularly care for the Breakfast Club because I don't care for the personalities on there. I think Charlemagne's an idiot. DJ Envy doesn't have any kind of brain cells up in that head of his, which makes me embarrassed that he's a fucking Virgo. And don't even get me started on that dyke looking bitch, Jess He Not Larius. So I don't find any of them interesting on here. The only one that I think is relatively interesting is Laura LaRosa. But girl, you have to get it, you're just gonna have to, it's whatever. Like you're the only one that I feel like got some kind of sense on that damn channel. So y'all do what y'all doing over there on Netflix. But my thing is, if that's what you want to do, and it's like the money is good and they're offering you a lot of big money or whatever the case is, because I was reading an article, what was it from the Hollywood Reporter, one of those that Robert had sent me, where they were talking about podcast deals on how people can make from 10 grand to 100 grand with like independent podcasters. I said, where? Because I would like to be making that money a month. My financial situation would be Gucci if I could be pulling in $10,000 to $100,000. And there's a certain skill set that comes with podcasting. But I know these days people just shove a microphone in their face and start running off with their mouth and think that that's something. And it's like, no, you just a dumb bitch with a microphone. So I don't know if they're regretting this whole situation. I mean, if they're eating great off of being on Netflix, then that's great. But if the numbers aren't reflecting that and they're losing their audience, then it might not be necessarily a great idea. Because I guess it's like with Ebro in the morning. Once they lost that show over at Hot 97, they came over to YouTube and decided to create a show. And they've been able to bring a lot of those people that was over there in, and people are still slowly discovering that they're on YouTube, and people are watching that. YouTube is easily accessible for a lot of people, so I would have just stuck with that and just get the endorsement deals and all this stuff that will hopefully come along. That would help out. I am too. I really hope Michael B. Jordan wins. I know everybody's gonna be shocked at it. They're gonna be gooped, and if he does, but like I said, if any one of them win, it was so many strong performances in the male category this year. I kind of feel for Wagner Moura because It's so many big performances that his name is not really floating around there as much. But it's like everybody's looking at Leo, Timothy, and Michael. But it'd be good to see Michael get the award because he's been acting for so longer than Timothy Chalamet. So to see him have that full circle moment, I think would be much better. All right, y'all. So let's get to some more entertainment news. And let's talk about David Ellison. So now we're getting a little more information. I told you day by day, little by little, bit by bit, we're going to be finding out more information regarding of what's going to be happening with this merger that's supposed to happen between Paramount and Warner Brothers. So now David Ellison is revealing that he plans on combining Paramount Plus and HBO Max as one thing. But then I also heard that he brought all this up and didn't share it with Warner Brothers. Why do I not think this thing is going to happen? Well, maybe in a way, I'm actually fingers crossed that I'm hoping it doesn't um it doesn't transpire because I don't want people like I said before, I love David Ellison as a producer with Skydance. He's produced a lot of really good movies. And I definitely think he's not going to interfere with a lot of what the studios and stuff is doing because that'd be dumb. Like we need diversity in our films. If you try to lean everything in one direction, make it more right wing, that's only going to hit a small demographic. And just because they loud don't necessarily mean that they're large. So if you do a small that only want to pander to that small audience of conservatives, even though it's a shit ton of money to be made in conservatism in this country, um, your studio will do even worse. The reason why Warner Brothers is so successful is because Pam Abdi and Michael DeLuca are greenlighting different types of films. They're taking risks on the type of content that they're putting out there, different movies and things. So Paramount CEO David Ellison says the company pending merger with Warner Brothers Discovery will give it a scale it needs to compete with Netflix, especially when Paramount Plus and HBO Max come together, saying we will combine the streaming portfolios of the two companies into one stronger platform over the coming years. This is what he told Wall Street analysts Monday in a conference call to discuss the $111 billion deal. Saying on Paramount Plus and HBO, he says there are more than 200 million direct-to-consumer subscribers today in more than 100 countries and territories worldwide. And on top of that, the UK is about to get HBO Max. They don't even have it over there. They're about to launch it. I don't know when, but I know they're launching it. It might be this month. So what you're trying to do is take all of the consumers, including myself, because I am an HBO Max subscriber, and have us come over there with Paramount Plus. And I told you I have Paramount Plus. The only reason why I keep it because I watch RuPaul's Drag Race ad nauseum. So that's like the only thing I'm on there watching, which is kind of crazy to be paying a subscription for one show. But I mean, if every now and again, if a movie pops up that I want to see, I can definitely watch it. Speaking of which, I just sort of they have a little bundle thing, like a little what do we call it, like those little hub things, where they have all 6 Scream movies on Paramount Plus that you can sit and watch back, one after the other. And I think it's because of Scream 7, of course. So Netflix said in January it ended 2025 with 325 million global subscribers, while Ellison's estimate of the combined Paramount and HBO Max footprint is accurate. The 200 million figure counts each subscriber's base separately. As with many of the leading streaming outlets, there's an overlap with many subscribers getting both services. Yes, and we need to figure that out because here's the thing. I do the HBO Max, Hulu, Disney Plus bundle. How is that going to affect what I'm paying now that Paramount Plus is trying to swallow up HBO and HBO Max? Y'all need to figure all that out because I'm not going to be paying all these different bills for the same thing. If this one has got it over here, this was creating this bundle, and this is like, what? Like, y'all, what is going on? And this is why people do the churning and all this other stuff. And so now you're trying to combine all this because you want to compete with Netflix because Netflix by itself has so many subscribers. And Netflix also, I feel like, is the only streaming service that gives you an eclectic, views of eclectic type of film, meaning you get a lot of foreign movies because Netflix, I think, is the only the service that has a lot of foreign films on there. I haven't seen any other streaming service that has an eclectic, you know, point of view and different things. And I know some people saying that Tess and Randos and them over there at Netflix is liberal. That's bullshit. No, they're not. They're not liberal. And I know when people hate the fact that um politics is coming all of this. Well, if Donald Trump wasn't getting himself involved in all of these companies and things, and that the other wouldn't be political. The strong arming of me having to run down to the White House and kiss a president's ass in order to get, you know, the go ahead on me trying to buy something. But you don't want them to have. You wanted the Ellisons to have because Larry Ellison is in Trump's ear. He's an advisor. So when it all kind of plays in with the politics, you can't ignore the politics. You can't talk the business without including the politics in it, especially when I'm bringing y'all the information that a lot of you are too lazy to do yourselves. So that's what I'm here for. And I'm just speaking generally. So if people feeling away about how I say stuff, feel like a frog leap. So um I wish it wasn't getting to this kind of point or whatever the case was. Like, I'm curious to see how all this is going to turn out, what this is all going to become. But this has got me worried. In regards to the news media, I don't give a shit because I don't watch regular corporate sponsored news because it's all bullshit. I was at work yesterday and they had Eyewitness News on the TV and the propaganda they were spewing about what's going on in Iran right now. I'm looking at the TV like, are these motherfuckers serious with whatever they reading off the teleprompter? Like the amount of bullshit that they're feeding a lot of people who really don't understand and do the research. I'm like, God forbid, please, I'm hoping we don't have another damn 9/11 because of this shit of what they're over here doing. So, um, I don't know how I feel about this whole situation. We'll have to see how this all works out. But the fact that Silicon Valley is pretty much having complete autonomy and control over how all the information that we get scares the bejesus out of me. So I know we're in its infant stage. I'm hoping and praying it doesn't go through because I don't like the fact that the Ellisons have power to just have control over a lot of our resources and what we believe and what they want to get out there and not. Because they have TikTok too. They own TikTok. They got Oracle. They got all these different companies. I've laid out the amount of companies that they have. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you like this whole idea about Paramount Plus and HBO Max being a combined situation, saying it will create a viable rival to Netflix? And I'm guessing when you're talking about a viable rival, is that like because you're thinking subscription numbers? Like that's not the end all be all. Like what is it on your streamer that is going to differentiate from what we get from Netflix? That should be the argument, not it's going to create a viable rival because we trying to compete with the amount of subscribers on the channel. Because quiet as it's kept, ain't shit on Paramount Plus worth subscribing for. Like I said, the only interesting thing on there is um RuPaul's Drag Race. Everything else is all the acronyms: FBI, CIA, NCIS, LMNOP, QRSTUV, WXY. Like all them stupid little company acronym things. That's all they got on there. And now they got the new show. They got all the Taylor Sheridan stuff, which I will say that's pretty good. And now they got the new one that just came out that's on CBS. I think what was it called? But it's not Landman. Landman's in the second season. There was a new show that came out. I think Luke Grimes is the lead. Marshals. It used to be called Y Marshals. Now they just call them Marshals, and they got the Y up in there. But it's supposed to be like a spinoff of Yellowstone. So they have that and a couple of little things. But other than that, it's like Paramount. I mean, Showtime was a mess too. All y'all had was Dexter. And I didn't even see the last season, so I don't even know if that was good or not. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about this whole, the ideas and the business and all this other stuff as it's going on. But I really feel like the way when I read this recent article from not David Ellison, the other David Zaslav. I don't think David Zaslav think this shit gonna go through. And if it don't go through, they get a $7 million severance pay. So I'm starting to think at this point, was it all kind of a ruse that y'all knew that these deals wasn't going to do whatever, and everybody wins in the end with the money and how the stock market does in Wall Street. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You're gonna be mad at me, but I'm reading a book right now and it just mentioned Houston Street in Manhattan. Of course I've been to Houston. I hope you wasn't pronouncing it Houston. It's Houston. But yes, I've been to Houston Street. That's like it's in like the East Village. He said, I can't decide if this Paramount deal is simply a first world problem or a genuine existential crisis. I can't tell either because it's just so much that it's just like a dark cloud on the industry. And my mind is just all over the place in regard to trying to understand all this. Like the business side, it's so complicated that I can't even still wrap my head around it. So I'm not really concerning myself about that part yet. I'm just more or less thinking on the emotional level of what this means for artists and being creative. Because y'all can't sit up in here and think, oh, because we're cut to a certain president who wants to control the narrative of and wants to create like this authoritative fascist type of nation, that there can only be a certain type of film that he wants made. So now they got to cook themselves to whatever he wants. Kind of like with recent, for example, Rush Hour 4. Who asked for that? Trump all of a sudden talking about, yeah, make Rush Hour 4 and bring Brett Ratner back to direct. So when you're seeing this stuff from the previous studio and you're thinking it's going to trickle over to this studio, it's hard to kind of like not think that that's what the intentions are. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this dumbass. Let's talk about Justin Timberlake. So quiet as it's kept, nobody was out here thinking about Justin Timberlake. Nobody was out here even worrying about Justin Timberlake. But for some reason, he felt that I need to be in the news by drawing unwanted attention to himself, which I'm like, you're a dummy, bitch. Let's get into this fool. So apparently, Justin Timberlake is currently fighting to keep the body camera footage from his infamous Ruin the Tour moment during his June 2024 DWI arrest from being released publicly. This is crazy. I cannot wait. I thought it was 2025 when it happened. It's almost been 2 years since that whole incident. Where the fuck did the time go? In an embarrassing moment for the singer during the arrest nearly 2 years ago, he was allegedly seen on Bodycam telling a police officer who did not know who he was that the arrest would ruin the tour, but that footage has yet to be seen publicly. The 45-year-old former boy band member who took the stage in January to honor pal Pharrell, please, another piece of shit, Pharrell Williams, has now filed a complaint in Suffolk County Supreme Court on Monday. Timberlake claims that the release of the footage would be an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, according to court documents obtained by the New York Post. He said the document read this. It said public dissemination of this footage would cause severe and irreparable harm to Timberlake's personal and professional reputation, subject Timberlake to public ridicule and harassment, and serve no legitimate public arrest. Okay, let me let that sink in for a second. Justin, you're a dummy, bitch. And I'm gonna tell you why. How are you gonna sit up here and say it will cause severe and irreparable harm to his personal and professional reputation? What exactly were you doing when that cop came up upon you? Because we had to put this picture up. And I'm just being messy intentionally because I know how the show is. But that's the mugshot. So I'm sitting there like, what could you have possibly been doing that you weren't about that this is going to cause harm to your reputation? A reputation nobody was really asking for or even thinking about. Like the thing happened, we moved on with our lives, we got bigger fish to fry. But here you go trying to regurgitate and reheat your old ass nachos. And now you bringing more attention to the situation, which now, since you brought it to our attention, nosy. So now I want to see this video footage. Somebody out in Suffolk County leak it. I know I don't know nobody. Well, I do know people. I have family that live in Suffolk County. I don't know the police out there, but one of y'all leaked that shit. TMZ, y'all leak every damn thing else. Get your hands on the footage and post it. But I'm sitting there thinking this. I think that this case, they're going to laugh at this crap. They're going to throw it out. Because here's the thing. You did what you did in public. Excuse me. It's not a private situation. It wasn't like you did something in your house and the police had to be called and whatever from there is from there. I don't know. Maybe there is a way that you can prevent it from coming out if it was in your house or whatever the case is. But when you out in the street, in public, where you're in a car, driving while intoxicated, where God forbid, you could have put somebody's life in imminent danger. And then what? You could have ended up in a Caitlyn Jenner / Brandy type situation and ran somebody over with your car, allegedly. Or is it really alleged with them two? So it could have gotten in that situation. Luckily, it didn't. The cops stopped you and did what they did. And my thing is this. When the cops stopped you and was asking you questions, what you should have did was, I'm not going to speak on anything until my lawyer is present. Okay, fine. Put your hands behind your back. We take you down to the precinct. We'll put you in them handcuffs. And when your lawyer shows up, then we'll take it from there. That's what you should have did. So I'm curious. I want to know what you said in that footage that now all of a sudden you're trying to draw attention to something that nobody was talking about. Because why would you do that? To me, it's just like it's this typical sense of entitlement just to act like he is above the law because he's rich, he's white, he's a male, he's made his entire career off the backs of Black people and Black music. And now you out here using your privilege to have something buried. Because this is the world we live in now. When you have a lot of money, when you have a lot of power, when you have a lot of resources, you try to act like you could strong arm everybody to doing whatever the hell you want. And sorry, sir, it's not going to work. And I don't think you're going to be able to get away with this mess. I do feel like somebody should probably leak it. So then, but then the rebel is up. They did say that he agreed to plead guilty to driving while impaired, which was a lesser offense that carried a penalty of a $500 fine with a $260 surcharge, 24 hours of community service, and required him to make the public safety announcement. They also said he refused to take a breathalyzer at the time of the arrest and automatically triggered a suspension of his driver's license under New York state law. The once beloved former NSYNC member has had a rough couple of years after his treatment of ex-girlfriend Britney Spears was put under a microscope during her conservatorship battle. And then when she came out with the book, The Woman in Me, she started spilling tea about her relationship with Justin and was like he was cheating on her throughout their relationship. And then, of course, came the Janet Tittygate situation. And some of the other things. And then allegedly, remember, the cheating with Jessica Biel. Well, on Jessica Biel. And she cheated on her. And allegedly, he was cheating on her with, what's her name? Alicia Wainwright or something or another. That she was another actress that he did a movie with. I think it was called Farmer or one of those. I can't remember the name of it. But he did some with Parker. No, Parker was with Jennifer Lopez. Oh, sorry, Jennifer. He did some movie with her, and they were in New Orleans on a balcony. She had a hand on his lap, and they were being inappropriate. I had a moment of weakness. I think Justin got a drinking problem. That's probably where that damn Lyme disease stemmed from. And he didn't want to admit that. I guess whatever stresses he's going on in the world could be that, a man who's no longer in his 20s, he's going through a midlife crisis. And so he's still trying to hold on to that youth. But a lot of you straight people can't do what us homosexuals could do. We can live our best life. We can go off and do all the things without being tied down to a relationship or a marriage with a bunch of kids. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some gays out here that want all of that. They want that heteronormative lifestyle. But for the most part, Justin Timberlake is a 42-year-old heterosexual male who is basically the definition of what some people would consider old. So when you out here trying to hold on to your youth and do all the youthful things, and now you tied up in a marriage with kids and all this other shit because that's what society tells you need to be in, maybe that contributed to his drinking. I'm just speculating. But like I said before, Justin, this is a waste of time. It's a waste of money, and it's just showing your overall arrogance. And I don't even think that you're going to be able to get away with this. I do think that the judge is probably going to throw this out. And if I was them people down in Suffolk County, Harvey, get your people down there, get that footage and post it online, because you be posting every damn thing else. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Justin Timberlake fighting to keep his DWI body cam footage sealed? Because for some godforsaken reason, like I said before, we wasn't even thinking about this. We wasn't even thinking about him. But all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? I'm bored. I need to file a suit or some paperwork so that way they can make sure that something that is public record doesn't become public. Make that make sense. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. What's that? Release the files. Wait, hold on. Did I miss one? Yes, release them files. Right, the time for that's what I said. Time for I'm like 2 years. Public, exactly. You were intoxicated in public, therefore the record is public, just like your mugshot is public. Your foot and do. He said your foot stay on Pharrell neck. OMG, me and a former coworker used to do impressions of Monique impressions saying, "You're a dummy, bitch." Whenever a customer that says something. And you know exactly who I was channeling because I said it in the exact diction. He's a very insecure man, and his thin lip. If this thin lip loser had balls, he would own up to it. The mugshot is already public record, and he nearly unalived someone. But this is what he's exactly. That's what I said. The arrogance of it all, and y'all be wondering why I can't stand Justin Timberlake. And I'm glad that years later, all of this stuff surrounding him proved my reason why I was like, I looked at that boy, I was like, I don't like him. It's just something that us Virgos, we have a sixth sense. We could literally look at you and then 5 minutes later determine whether or not we like your ass. I could literally read your entire life and your whole aura, your energy, your essence, all of that in one sitting. I'd still look at it, I was like, I don't like that person. Why not? I just don't. It's just something about that person. And then I may not be able to put my finger on it, but then later on you'll realize it's like, yeah, I see it. Finally. It finally came, it finally revealed itself. Reveal yourself. Yes, he is a douche. And that douche. Who child the ghetto? All right. Him and ex Tina, terrible people that are holding on to their glory days because they're boring at their big age. Okay. Not big age though. Okay, now let's get some more tea. And let's talk about Zendaya. So apparently we didn't know this, but apparently Laura Roach decided to spill their tea and reveal that Zendaya and Tom Holland are married. So Laura was over there on I believe the Access Hollywood red carpet where he basically spilled their tea. Now I do have the clip. We're gonna go over to Access Hollywood's page and we will come back and talk. Please hold.
The wedding has already happened. You missed it.
Is that true?
It's very true. Thank you so
What?
much. Yeah.
You already...
The wedding has already happened. You missed it.
Is that true?
It's very true. Thank you so
What?
much. Yeah.
You already...
The wedding is.
I was gonna say, first of all, should you been out here spilling these people tea? Because you already know, speaking of Virgos, Zendaya is one. And you know, we play our personal shit close to the chest. We don't be wanting people to know our stuff. We will definitely tell you what we want you to know when we want you to know it. But I'm like, if Laura's out here spilling her business, I'm like, was that smart or did she give the permission to say it? Because if it was anybody else, you'd be like, "Oh no, you broke my trust. I don't want to work with you no more." So that's probably the reason why it's out there. But anyway, let's get into the article. So days after celebrity stylist RuPaul's Drag Race judge and Project Runway judge Laura Roach claimed at Sunday's 2026 Actor Awards that Zendaya, his longtime client, had secretly married the Euphoria actress's mom, addressed the development on social media. The laugh. Zendaya's mom, Claire Stormer, wrote over footage of Laura making the reveal in a since removed Instagram story post on her personal account. Stormer also included a laughing emoji, though she didn't directly confirm or deny Roach's claim. Earlier, Roach told Access Hollywood that the wedding had already happened between Zendaya and Holland, which we don't need to go through that again because I showed y'all the clip. Now, EW's sister publication People previously reported that the pair got engaged in 2024, with Holland proposing to his fellow Spider-Man series actress at a family home per the outlet. Zendaya, who's currently gearing up to star in season 3 of Euphoria, was later photographed at the 2025 Golden Globes while wearing a ring on her left hand. So, y'all already know they met on the set of 2016 Spider-Man Homecoming. So basically, they've been dating for 10 years. That's a long time to be in a committed relationship. And I definitely feel like they're the real deal. And um, with them being public figures, it's hard for people to try to keep things close to the chest and to themselves and personal and quiet and stuff. And there are many people out here that could do it. Beyonce is perfect at keeping her business tightly wrapped up where y'all don't know what's going on. Another Virgo. I told her we Virgos, we're good at keeping a secret and letting people know if we want y'all to know our business. But I definitely think that they are married. They got the go ahead. Why not? I mean, y'all, 10 years together, why not just get married? Y'all practically married as it is, even though y'all never walked down. I mean, even though y'all been together that long, don't they, in the law of, in US law, they consider that married anyway if you're together with somebody for like 10 years? So why not? Just get married, go on with your lives. Remember there was a little alleged story that came out that Zendaya is pregnant. So maybe that might be the reason. We haven't really been seeing her out here. I mean, I know she did The Odyssey. She did Euphoria. She did Doom 3. So she's gonna be a busy girl. We're gonna be seeing a lot of Zendaya this year, starting when Euphoria the final season comes out. And I guess since I'm still relatively confused, like, are they married or no? I guess we'll find out once they start up the press tour for Euphoria sometime. When does it come on? April? Well, whenever that show comes out, we'll find out. So, I guess we just have the fathers under to be determined. The story. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe that Zendaya and Tom Holland are indeed husband and wife? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. People forgot all about this. But you talk about the shit. What you talking about? Justin. He said, "Oh, when is your birthday? September 2nd. 2 days before Beyonce." And you said that douche was also supposed to feature on Mariah's charm bracelet, but pulled out of it because it was during her flop era and feared it would make him look. He always worried about something making him look bad. It's like, no, you just being a dick makes you look bad. Laura Roach looks like Tyler Perry if Medea had a better wig. You know something? That's actually a good description. Speaking of which, Tyler Perry just has a new firefighter series coming out that I saw. I wrote the article on it. I forgot what the name of it is, what it's called. Where There's Smoke, which I'm like, okay, that's actually a good title for a show. I just be side-eyeing whenever it's Tyler Perry because it's Tyler Perry, and we already know about his tight-ass writing. He said, "Oh, you said it comes out next month. I'm sure she won't publicly take his last name though and plop it besides her. Yeah, I might just keep his name Zendaya like Madonna or Cher. um, do that. But if you want Zendaya, whatever her last name is, Holland Holland. Because like, yeah, when you have that kind of name, you just need to be Zendaya. You don't need like a first and a last name. A name like that warrants to just sit by itself." All right, y'all. So now we're down to our final 4 topics. So before we get to those final core 4, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I also have memberships. So if you want to sign up for a membership or become a member of the channel, you definitely can do so. But also, please hit that like and subscribe. It definitely helps with the algorithm and pushing the show out for bigger eyes to get up on it. So please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the diddler. So apparently, Diddy getting out of jail early. I mean, he's still getting out in 2028, but the initial date that he was supposed to have is now null and void. So they moved up his date, and I guess he has reason to rejoice. So that's in like what? What are we in 2026? About 2.5 years? Or maybe if you think about it, kind of sort of, yeah, 2-ish years. So Sean Combs' release from prison has been bumped up by more than 5 weeks, with the music exec now expected to return home by April 25th, 2028, according to so I guess we could put it 2 years, because if it's April 25th, we're already in March, so we'll say like a year and a month. According to the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Prisons website. See, look, and Diddy ain't trying to get that taken off. You can go up and in. That's public. That's public information. Justin, that's what we're talking about. The 56-year-old is currently serving out a 50-month sentence for his conviction on 2 counts of prostitution-related charges at Fort Dix. The jokes write themselves. A low-security federal correctional facility in New Jersey. Combs' release date has fluctuated since his arrival at Fort Dix last October. It was initially set for May 8, 2028, but then in November 2025, the date was pushed back to June 4th, 2028. According to the BOP's website, around the time CBS and TMZ reported that Combs had violated at least 2 prison rules, which his team denied. A rep for Combs declined to comment. The Bad Boy founder has been in prison since his September 2024 arrest. The music mogul was charged with trafficking of the sexual kind, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The alleged offenses related to so-called freak-offs that he had with his girlfriends, including Cassie and male escorts. Because y'all remember hearing that the one thing about the Jeffrey Epstein and all that other stuff, he didn't particularly care for black people. So black people, we got to sit this one out. Y'all was spared. You didn't have to be caught up in that mess. But the market that Jeffrey Epstein didn't get to hit upon, Diddy saw a niche and decided to create his own little situation. So while we may have gotten away with the stuff from Epstein, we got fucked over by this fool. Well, not we. I'm just, we in the logical sense. So, well, they said that he spends his days working in a prison chapel library and is also enrolled in an intensive drug treatment program, RDAP, which upon completion can shave up to 1 year off inmates' prison sentence. He's taken his time there seriously and working every day towards healing and coming home. Well, I actually hope, because like I said, the same thing I was saying about how there was something about Justin Timberlake I didn't like, and all of his actions over the years proved my instincts correct. I've been saying the same thing about Diddy. There was always something about Diddy that rubbed me the wrong way. And then over the years of hearing certain stories from certain people who was in those situations or in those circles, it was just like, yeah, I didn't particularly care for Diddy in a lot of those. Just about who he was and how he treated a lot of people that he worked with, or being in the business and that sort of thing. So if he is actually in prison doing the work, because here's the thing, I've always said this, y'all be so quick to think like, you know what, if somebody's a criminal and they do bad to people, y'all should be just thrown in prison and rot there forever. And my thing is, prisons, last I checked, the whole initial sense of it was the definition of it is you go in there to try to get better and change who you are and come out a better person than you were before you went in. Not it just being used as something that people could just make money off of, because bodies in prison is profit for a lot of these, private businesses and things of that nature, the prison system. So if he's in there actually doing the work, then I'm here for him doing the work that he needs in this situation. So, good luck to you, Diddy, because I guess we'll just have to see what happens when you come out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of the story about Diddy's date being moved up? He's coming out in April now instead of, when was the last time? I think it was July or June or something. He was supposed to be coming out. Supposed to be coming out in the summer, but now he's coming out in April. So I know his family might be happy hearing that news. But regarding everybody else, y'all better lock up your daughters and possibly your sons too. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I think Zendaya gave Law permission because he doesn't give me messy vibes. I mean, he's messy on camera, as you know, when the stuff he says, whatever. But I truly believe that one thing about Law is that he's not going to come out and be messy, be like, "Oh yeah, they already married," and tell her business without her permission, because we know definitely how close she likes to play it to the vest and doesn't want to spill any kind of tea regarding her personal business or putting it out there unless she personally wants it out there. So, all right, y'all. So now let's move on. And let's talk about Belle Khalees, because Belle Khalees coming for Trashy K throat. And she's saying, like, and here's the thing. I'm thinking she watched Fag Talk the other day with T.S. Madison and Craig, because the other day they was talking, Maddie went in on Trashy K and was saying some stuff regarding her and these lies that she was spreading about embezzling money from her foundation that she has, the Starter House, which is helping incarcerated trans women get their bearings and get their life back on track. So they was up in there saying Dominique Morgan, a bunch of other stuff, embezzling money, and saying all this information, misinformation and lies on social media. And Maddie was being Florida Maddie and went in and was doing the reads and the roasts and the gags and all the other stuff about you know, what Trashy was saying. Excuse me. So I guess with all that being said, maybe Cardi in between, taking break on this tour, she heard what Miss Thing was out here doing and was like, "You want to know something?" Because the trans girls, they all kind of with each other. So the trans girl, she got the Tokyo style them that she got on her team. They probably good Judy's with Maddie. Heard what had happened, and Cardi got to that whole situation was like, okay, I'll put my foot on this bitch neck. I want my coins. Bitch better have my money. So the rapper is reminding the celebrity blogger of their agreement and has demanded that she provide information about her finances, including bank records, in person. Because, like I said, if we're going to talk about other people's alleged embezzlement and money and finances and things, what you was trying to do, throw that stray at T.S. Madison, be careful of the type of energy you put out there, because, sis, that was some accusations that they had on you in regard to your finances, and why all of a sudden you got all this mouth about all these celebrities and spreading lies and misinformation and interviewing people like that old fat neck fuck that was out here talking that shit about Will and Jada, where the judge just denied his thing for a restraining order against Jada Pinkett Smith. That was just thrown out of court. And you interviewing all these people for views and clicks, and that's great and all. But the repercussions that comes with that, when these celebrities want to come out and file lawsuits for misinformation, and you giving liars a platform, allegedly, if they are lying, they can prove all of this other stuff with their whatever the case is. But when you out here talking about people embezzling money, when that's something you've been accused of, be careful of the energy you put out there, because now Cardi's like, "Oh, really, bitch? So you want to sit up here and talk about other people? Where my money at?" So for those of you who don't remember, Cardi sued Tasha in 2019 for a malicious campaign of slander on her blog, earning the rapper $4 million in damages and legal fees from the blogger. The mother of four's attorney asked for a provision of her bank records just 2 months after they buried their legal hatchet with millions of dollars in the backlog of retribution. In the documents for Tasha's bankruptcy case in Florida, Cardi demanded that her company provide records relating to all her income from YouTube and her other social media accounts. But that ain't all. The media personality also requested for copies of the blogger's tax returns. Child. Well, sis, I hope you was out here paying your bills, because if you haven't been out here paying you haven't been paying the IRS, you already know they don't play when it comes to their money. So now, during the defamation lawsuit statement, Tasha agreed to pay the rapper $1.2 million over the span of 5 years and refrain from trash talking the singer on other social media platforms, which is true. She has not been talking about Cardi. She can't mention her name, although she was using other ways of trying to get around that to spill the tea, specifically when it came to her relationship with Stephon Diggs. So I was catching you can't say her name specifically, but you can go around, find a roundabout way of getting to the conversation about Cardi without mentioning Cardi's name, if that makes any sense. So, um, then it also said, as confirmed by TMZ, the agreement instructed Tasha to produce her financial records every quarter. But it looked like to me she hasn't done that because they asking for it. Now, following the settlement, Trashy revealed in a court document that her financial situation had been made worse because of her bankruptcy in 2023. As noted by The Blast, the blogger explained in the 11th chapter of her document that she is a content creator and influencer, and that is her source of income. Tasha affirmed that she earned her income through YouTube appearances and gigs from Instagram and other social media platforms. Yeah, because you could definitely make a lot of money doing that. I mean, Funky Dineva, they do, and they a lot of the YouTubers and stuff, the big ones, they do, appearances and things. Funky Dineva does it. Who else? Kempire has been doing stuff with his channel regarding meetups and all that other stuff. So a lot of the YouTubers are getting into that whole meet and greet and doing traveling. It's Fag Talk with T.S. Madison and Craig. They traveling to city wineries and all these different places doing their show and meeting the fans and all that stuff. Excuse me. Okay, so now the blogger continued that Cardi remains her biggest creditor, to whom she owes $3,363,753. Tasha noted that the same blog where she earns income got her into legal trouble because she had claimed Cardi previously worked as an escort, used hard drugs, and had an STD on the channel. So it's like, yeah, if you don't have proof of all this other stuff, if you don't have any kind of attachment or wherewithal of her medical records, whatever cases, which would be a violation of HIPAA law, um, you can't be out here saying somebody got an STI and all this other stuff when you don't have the proof that they have that. You're just making assumptions. Now, in 2023, The Blast shared that Cardi went after Tasha on Twitter for bringing up Takeoff's name in a comment about the mother of four. Tasha had said this under a gossip site comment section, saying, wasn't she posting guns right after Takeoff died and on the internet cutting up not long after his sudden takeoff? I'm just asking. Everybody grieves differently. You weren't asking, you were being messy. Now, Cardi expressed her displeasure with the comment and slammed Tasha for bringing up the late Migos rapper to prove a point. She related that it was pretty hard for her and her then husband Offset to deal with the reality of losing Takeoff so suddenly. According to Cardi, she lost weight and could not eat for days, adding that Offset was still dealing with the aftermath of Takeoff's death. The rapper stressed that she also used the guns Tasha referred to for safety purposes because rappers get targeted at all times. 4 months after Cardi clinched the win in her defamation case against the blogger, Tasha responded with an appeal filed through her attorneys. Now, in her filing to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, the blogger's lawyers requested that the verdict in Cardi's case be overturned as a piece of vital evidence was not included by the judge. The blogger's lawyers insisted that Judge William Ray, who presided over the case, overlooked key evidence about Cardi's character, which played a role in the jury's decision. According to the attorney, the jury heard a very lopsided presentation of evidence, and because they did not get to earn or learn who the plaintiff truly is, the jury returned a general verdict for the plaintiff against both defendants. Now, during the trial, the presiding judge reportedly set aside the evidence because it could be prejudicial against Cardi and had no direction in the case. Tasha's attorney also said that Cardi's lawyer failed to prove that his client acted with actual malice in regards and things she posted about Cardi B. And in the appeal, the blogger's lawyer stressed that her claims were born out of thin air and referenced a particular video where Tasha accused Cardi of performing sex acts with her. Wait, what? They said she accused Cardi of performing sex acts with beer bottles on fucking stripper stages. Tasha's lawyers stated that she saw the video on a porn site and the woman involved looked like Cardi doing those things. Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that video. But there was a video going around that, and I think that's where the lawsuit came from. Now that I think about it, there was a woman at a strip club who I guess was sticking bottles in her cootie cat, and she's like, "Oh, so you made it and out there said it was Cardi." Now you can't be out here making accusations if it's not true, and I think that is the slippery slope that a lot of people don't realize when you get in this line of business. If you're going to be a YouTuber, if you're going to be a podcast, if you're going to go and spew celebrity news and gossip, you can read a bitch down when she doing dumb shit. But when you got a personal vendetta against somebody you don't know, and just saying all these different things probably because you feeling away. And we already know how women get particularly jealous of other women for whatever reason. Maybe they look a certain way, or they may have said something that rubs you the wrong way, or whatever the case is. I don't know. But people have to learn to be objective in the type of stuff that they spew. Because one of the things I'm not doing, I'm not fucking up my bag for a bunch of people watching my show because you want me to get messy and you want me to just say some crazy shit about a celebrity. What does that do for me financially? What does that do for me in the long run? If a story comes out here and it needs to be talked about, I'm going to bring the facts and I'm going to give my opinion. Just like when I read down Justin Timberlake and Pharrell dumbass. If they're going to say something or do something stupid, you call it out. You don't bring whatever biases or personal vendetta or whatever you have against a certain person, because all that's going to end up doing is putting you in court. I'm not going to come out here and spew lies and vitriol about a celebrity because I want attention and I want clout. All that's going to do is you're going to end up in court catching a case, and then now I got to spend thousands of dollars on an attorney when that shit needs to go to bigger and better things like bills. Well, there's nothing bigger and better about bills. I hate paying bills because as an adult, that's what we got to do. But I don't want my money should go towards things that needs to go towards, and not just being caught up in no damn court with some dumb shit because I got to axe the grind with a celebrity. So I'll definitely keep abreast of this story as it develops and see if Cardi is able to get her hands on her financial records and her tax returns and all those things, or is she going to find a way to curtail around that? We'll see. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this story. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Well, good for you. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our second to the last topic. I got some good news from some of you Harry Styles fans. Do they have a name? Because you know like, they have the Beehive, and you have like the you have all these people, the Rihanna Navy or something. What y'all call yourselves? The Stylist? Well, if that's not the name, that's what we'll call it. I don't necessarily know what his fans call, but attention all stylists, if you can't afford a ticket to go see Harry Styles and his expensive ass residency, I have a solution. You can watch it when it appears on Netflix, because apparently Netflix has joined and gotten an idea to broadcast Harry Styles' upcoming tour. Is it a tour or is it a residency? Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to call it. I guess we'll call it a residency, because if you're playing at multiple places for a while, then I guess it's a residency. So the first complete performance of Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, the fourth studio album from Harry Styles, will soon be available at the click of a button. The live recording of the musician's one-night-only concert, scheduled for Friday, March 6th concert at Co-op Live in Manchester, England, will stream on Netflix beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, March 8th. On IG, Styles shared an official trailer for the film, which is titled Harry Styles One Night in Manchester and produced by Full Well Entertainment. It opens with him in rehearsals with his longtime live collaborators, including percussionist and music director Paulie Lovejoy. Fans can set a reminder for the release on Netflix now. It's currently listed as Disco, with an image of splattered spaghetti, and the genre tags music, British, and concerts. The movie is exciting, the landing page reads. It said the concert film will be captured on the same day Styles' first album in 4 years arrives. The show itself follows a long-running tradition of release shows for the artist. In 2019, he performed in LA in celebration of Fine Line. In 2022, he brought Harry's house to New York's UBS Arena. The Manchester concert will be the first complete concert performance from Styles to be made available on demand through the streaming service. The 32-year-old has plans to take Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally on the road later this year with Together, a series of residencies. The run includes 30 nights at Madison Square Garden, don't remind me, in New York, and 12 nights at Wembley Stadium in London. Styles will also perform in Amsterdam, Brazil, Mexico City, Melbourne, and Sydney. Now, with Harry Styles, One Night in Manchester, all the fans who missed out on tickets for the limited shows, particularly those who weren't willing to sell their blood to afford them, can watch Styles perform the entire album live for the comfort of their home. The following weekend, they can watch his return to SNL. So he's going to perform the album from beginning, middle, and end. I think that's a great idea that he's doing that. So yeah, well, I thought maybe he was going to get to see the residents. No, he wants you to pay money for that. But if you can't go, then you can live vicariously through this one night only special that he has. And then once that's done, then he can go into rehearsals and put together his upcoming residency. Because I'll say this, I did watch his performance at the Brits. She liked it. I know Dope Queen Phoebes over on Instagram was making fun of his performance, calling it very mega church cult leader esque with a lot of the way the music and everything was sounding. It was such a weird performance I was watching. But and whether or not you liked it, I will say this. I tip my hat to Harry Styles because he's one of the only male performers right now that's taking creative risks with his music and his live performance. You got Bruno boring ass Mars out here with that new tight ass album. If you can't afford any melatonin, put that shit on and it will help you go to sleep. That's how boring and uninspired and lame that record is. But y'all gonna eat it up because it's Bruno Mars and he stays reheating his same tight ass nachos. But it's like, yeah, a lot of these male artists are not really out here taking risks. Benson Boone likes wearing his little tight onesies but still having an identity crisis, don't know who the fuck he is as an artist. So you're not gonna get anything interesting out of that except a bunch of backflips and wedgies from his his little onesies that he be wearing. And so yeah, I can't think and then Justin Bieber thinks he's black. So he's gonna sit up here and just emulate what black people do at the upcoming Coachella, promoting swag and all these other classic hits. So Harry Styles was the only one out here doing something relatively different. The music is out there. The choreography was just weird as all get out, but I was living for it. And the fact that he was up there doing choreography, I was like, okay. I didn't expect that from Harry. When he was in One Direction, did they dance or they just got up there and just started singing? I don't remember. Also, when they were being put together on the X Factor, I don't think it was required for them to have to do singing and dancing. Or am I wrong? But seeing him putting that all together and showing like he is the male pop star force to be reckoned with and is willing to take on that mantle because a lot of male artists, a lot of y'all are boring. The girls are stepping their pussies up. The girls are out here giving you costumes. They're giving you hair. They're giving you hairography, choreography. They're taking risks production wise. Some, not all. But you have Harry Styles up here being the only male I can think of off the top of my head that's of this generation that's giving y'all something different. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You looking forward to seeing his special over on Netflix? And have you bought your tickets for this upcoming residency that he's going to be doing later on in the year? Me, I don't have to get tickets. I'm going to be working a lot of them. So, and I'll definitely let you know my experience when that day comes. But in the meantime, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on now. Harry's flop era seems to be going off on a good foot. That performance on the Brit Awards was just okay for me, but I like, yeah, it's a good song. The choreography, I'm like, what in the Midsommar is going on? I was like, it's giving cult leader. I'm like, is he coming out as David Koresh? Like, mm-mm. The performance was a little out there where the buses don't run, but I like the song. I like the fact that he's taking creative risks, especially like with electronic music, and the fact that it's not your standard 2.5 minute dance track. Song goes for 5 minutes. I was thinking about One Direction concerts earlier today. They never danced. They just walked around the stage singing Teenage Dirtbag. At least they looked hot. Wait, who sang? I was gonna say, who's teenage? Wait, somebody else sang Teenage Dirtbag. I'm just a teenage dirtbag. Wheatus. That's who said that. So it was Wheatus. What isn't he a one-hit wonder? Shit, they had a song called Punk Ass Bitch too. Yeah. I was like, okay. You a punk bitch. Harry's music has always given me elevator music tease. Hopefully this album brings something different. Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple of good bops and stuff, but yeah, you could definitely like Harry Styles definitely gives you elevator music. He gives you something that you hear walking through the Target or Lowe's, very that, or Sears. All right, y'all. So now let's get to our final topic, and let's talk about the Lebidiqua community. So apparently, the gays, with DEI and everything going on, you know, um, the gays are looking to help each other out by creating a platform for the community to be able to make cinema. So if you're a creator who happens to be a part of the LGBTQ community, this could be for you. So the Necessary Foundation has been launched with Alan Cumming, Bowen Yang, Lena Waithe, and Adam Goldman as founding board members. Goldman will also serve as executive director with the purpose of offering financing and other opportunities to help Lebidiqua plus filmmakers establish themselves in the entertainment industry, saying, quote, queer filmmakers don't need permission, but they do need opportunity. That's what the Necessary Foundation is building. I'm so honored to be part of supporting new artists at the starting line, said Yang in a statement. Cumming added, this really is a crisis. If we don't act now to support young queer and trans filmmakers, LGBT plus people will disappear from American TV and film screens. It's as simple as that. The nonprofit will annually give out grants of $20,000 to early career Levitical Plus filmmakers to produce a pilot, short film, or other proof of concept, and will offer mentorship from established filmmakers. Mentors include John Cameron Mitchell, Raphael Bob Waxberg, and India Moore, among others. I'm glad they got India Moore up in there. I live for her. And they said the Necessary Foundation, which has Bruce Cohen, Andrea Lawler, Richard Konigsberg, I think that's how you say the name, and Lily Wachowski on its advisory board, will also provide additional support, like sponsoring festival submission fees and setting up screenings in New York and Los Angeles, the two main places that, a lot of films get shown, especially like, in New York, we have the Tribeca Film Festival. We also have, film festivals for the queer community and stuff as well. I think it's Outfest. Now, according to the most recent studio responsibility report from GLAAD Media, among the 250 films from 10 major distributors released in 2024, 59 contain an LGBTQ character, or 23.6%, which is a decrease of 3.7% from 2023. The study also noted that 37% of those Lebidiqua characters were on screen for less than 1 minute. Given the elongated timeline from green light to release, on screen representation is likely to decrease in the wake of Hollywood pulling back on initiatives and programs meant to support Lebidiqua Plus projects and filmmakers. Despite this, the Necessary Foundation said the audience interest remains high, pointing to the Canadian series Heated Rivalry and a recent hit television show centered on LGBTQ characters that proved popular in America was produced internationally. Says Goldman, there is, in this moment, enormous political pressure to delete queer people from American media, and that includes young filmmakers who are being shut out of the industry. That pressure is working. Now it's time to push back. And here's the thing with the industry now, one of the things I like about it is the fact that with almost no money, you can make any kind of content you want. You could use your iPhone, you could use whatever, and tech is so cheap now that you could just pull things together and create whatever you want from that. When I was in film school, we had to use digital cameras and all this other stuff, and lugging all that shit around was a lot. The boom mics and all that other stuff, it was a headache. Now you have everything is a lot smaller. You don't have to carry around too much stuff, and the sound quality is great. The visual quality is great. And there's a lot of talented queer people out here who just need an opportunity or someone to pay attention to their work and give them, and help them out. And having this type of foundation, called the Necessary Foundation, because it's definitely necessary that we get more queer voices heard out there. I think this is a good move on their part. So shout out to all y'all that is a part of this. I love Lena Waithe. Lena's always out here doing, good for the community and also all this other stuff. So shout out to her and shout out to everybody involved. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the latest on the Necessary Foundation? Because I say it's necessary not only just for the gays, but we're focusing on them, but other foundations to be heard and put their voices and help uplift new voices and go against the fascism of this country where they only want one specific voice to be heard. We need diversity in our world because it makes us better human beings and understanding other human beings, because TV does that. TV, film, whatever. When you see these different characters, it makes you have a more understanding of who they are. So let me know and not discriminate against those people, anybody who is another. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You're going to be mad at me again. I watched the YouTube short of Harry's Brit performance. That man was dancing. White people dancing, but still dancing. See, was that the first time you watched it? Because you was throwing shade at Harry, but I was like, I thought he did a good job with I thought he did a good job with that performance. He was up there dancing. I was like, okay, come on, choreography. He was having a good old time. There was one move where he did like the Michael Jackson leg lift in the air, and then he sticks his tongue out and he starts smiling. I was like, that's like just like little things like that. I like when people do, because it's like, okay, he's in the pocket, he's really performing, like he's feeling himself, and then that just shows to me that they've let loose. I said let her loose. They let loose and they're just letting all the choreography is in you. So you're just going with the flow. You're performing. And I'm thinking about the steps, like how we see from some of these performers out here was like, I could literally see you doing an 8 count in your head. You know who danced like that? Justin Timberlake. He danced like he counting all the moves as he's doing it. Everybody's like, oh, he can dance. No, you doing that. You doing that 8 count. I can hear you doing cat, 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 cat in your head. Hmm. You know what I was thinking? That I haven't seen in a long time, but I'm like, you know what? I actually want to get around to. I'm thinking I'm going to rewatch it. I think I'm feeling. I want to rewatch Pose. It's been a minute since I watched that show. So shit, I might do that tonight. Because it's been a minute. And plus, that had me thinking because I saw T.S. Madison did her Outlaws episode, and the latest one she dropped had Billy Porter on it. So I definitely want to check that one out. But anyway, so y'all, we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Before you go one more time, I want to say this. Please hit that like button, smash the notification bell, hit the subscribe so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. Trying to get in as many episodes as I possibly can before this big East and everything kicks off, because I'm going to be crazy busy for the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to try to squeeze in as many shows as I possibly can in the meantime. But yeah, so love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, well, yeah, I did drag that queen. I dragged her earlier. Drag mini me earlier. So until next time, ciao, darlings.